Sports Center.
According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, Texas State is in the final steps of accepting an invitation to the Pac-12 and has initiated the process of calling a board meeting on Monday to execute the acceptance. Utah Jazz 5th overall pick Ace Bailey did not fly with fellow first-round pick Walter Clayton Jr. to Utah after being drafted by the Jazz. Reports are Bailey is not happy about being drafted to Utah.
SportsCenter brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowt.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
And it is Friday. We made it. It's Friday in San Antonio. All right. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is off. James Pledger is here punching the buttons and doing what he does in the glass box of fun. And you're listening to the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on a Friday, baby. It's here. We made it. It has been some kind of week, has it not? Oh, my goodness, with the draft and all the stuff and all the rumors and the speculation and all the stuff that we've been talking about, and we got a lot more of that kind of stuff to talk about. So happy that all of you are choosing to spend a part of your day with us here on the Blitz. We appreciate that no matter how you're listening. If you're on our YouTube page, like and subscribe our YouTube page. You can find it by searching San Antonio Sports Star. You can also reach out to me if you would like to do so on Twitter at Joe Reinagel 210, or you can get a hold of us the old-fashioned way. You can give us a call, 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. However you want to comment today or make your voice heard, you're welcome to do so. It was interesting. Pledge and I were sitting here right before the show, and one of our loyal listeners was calling into the Rich Eisen show, Cowboy James, calling into Rich Eisen, and I think he had the Cowboys winning about, 20 games this season. I'm not sure.
I'm actually shocked he didn't have them going undefeated.
I'm pretty shocked about that too, but I'm curious. Goodness gracious, he had them winning games that there's no way that they win, but he is Cowboy James, and I guess he is okay to do that. Have a lot of hope if he wants to do that. It's kind of cool when you hear some of the people that listen to this show calling into the national show that's right on before us, the Rich Eisen show. So good for Cowboy James. He sounded pretty good. Maybe a little delusional, but he sounded pretty good. At least he made a good case for San Antonio and predicting the Cowboys' schedule. Speaking of, come on, AD on our YouTube at 13-4. Dude, please. Have you already started happy hour? Oh, my gosh, 13-4. Goodness gracious.
They're going to be better than people think, I think.
Well, I think they're going to be better, but 13-4? Come on now.
Better than Vegas thinks. Let me put it that way.
What? And now, I'm with
They're
you there.
They're at 7.5, right?
I'm with you there. I would take the over 7.5. I would do that. And if it's still that way when we get to Vegas in August, when we're headed up to Circa once more, then I might just have to put some money on the over 7.5. But we'll see what happens. I fully expect that number to go up. That just seems really, really low to me for the Dallas Cowboys. But we'll see what happens. We got so much to talk about today. But Pledge, man, our old buddy R.J. Ochoa is hanging out at a charity tournament this afternoon in Dallas. I guess the Livers are playing up there in Dallas. So I saw his tweet, and I retweeted him today, and I asked him if they're having a raffle for prizes after the tournament. Are there kegs on some of the holes? I was kind of wondering about that. And if there's big-breasted women in tents. And he hasn't responded yet, so I can't wait to see what his response is at that live guy. And
I don't know, Paige might be there.
And all I saw, well, maybe she is. All I saw was some dude teeing off in shorts.
Maybe that's RJ's there in shorts. He's hoping maybe he can get a hole in.
Nah, not RJ. I've seen RJ swing. It's not that great. Although I don't think he's a bad golfer, but, so I'll let you know what he responds to. And Twitter is still going strong. I'm telling you. I had a dude, and I love this, man. I showed this to you earlier, Pledge, but somebody on Twitter by the name of Harper's Castle It's got a picture of a Simpson guy raising his fist there and says, "Old man yells at cloud." And I guess that's how he sees me. I guess I can't imagine why he would see me that way. Old man yells at cloud. Look, I just speak the truth, and I'm passionate about it. That's all. And I probably will. My head will explode a few times today. I'm sure that it will.
Why is that?
Well, because there's some things that we're going to talk about that's going to make my head explode. This Ace Bailey thing I want to get into, and that's just unbelievable. That's one. That's one. ESPN is already having. I don't know if I can say. Can I say orgasm on the air?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I can say that. They're having one over a potential matchup between Cooper Flagg and Bronny James.
Bronny is
Yes. In the summer league. So they're
are you not excited about that?
No. Are you?
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg against Bronny James.
Yeah.
Really?
Bronny has earned it.
No, I have no. Although I'll probably watch it. I'm not.
That's all they want. They know you're gonna tune in.
Not all that excited about it. But it is what it is. But the fact that they go out and they just, this is their and they got the Spurs playing somebody that night at 10 o'clock in real little letters. But they do have Dylan Harper's name there, so that's kind of the headliner, I guess, for the Spurs as we head down to the summer leagues next week. Going to be interesting to watch those guys play when you're talking about Dylan Harper and all the new players on all the new teams. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Lifetime Spur Dome Harper?
Lifetime Spur?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, Pledge, because there's something else going on today that maybe my head won't explode, but perhaps everybody else out there in Twitter land and YouTube land and driving around the city, their head might explode.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Exactly. That could happen. There's a story out today that Giannis Antetokounmpo is still talking about getting out of Milwaukee. And one of the teams, according to Shams Charania, that is very interested is your own San Antonio Spurs. They're one of, I think, 4 teams that were mentioned in his tweet. Miami, I think, was one, the New York Knicks, and I can't remember the other one.
Nets.
The Nets, okay. So we'll see. And so we're going to talk about that, and that may make your head explode too, because it won't be cheap if you want Giannis. And I'm just curious to see what Spurs fans are willing to give up, other than, say, Mamu Kilishvili and, a second-round pick. Yeah, I'm just saying, because that's what some Spurs fan will come up with.
Riley Minix, that's my final offer.
Riley Minix. What's funny about that, Mitch Johnson speaks very highly of him. We'll hear from Mitch Johnson coming up in the next segment. But a lot to get into today. And, of course, you guys are always welcome. I welcome you to call into the show and make your voice heard, especially when we start talking about the Spurs. I have to address something here, though. I really do have to address something. On our YouTube page, Bobby Signs, who is, for whatever reason, is a Cub fan. I can't imagine. He must be brainwashed or something. But, he's Cubs split with the Cardinals. They had a 4-game series.
Huge win yesterday afternoon.
Well, I don't know about huge. It's June.
It was huge.
It's June. They split the series 2-2. So, I'm not sure, but, I didn't hear from Bobby when the Cardinals won the first 2 games of that series. He was quiet. It was like
they won
crickets.
the middle 2.
It was like
the middle 2. It's a 4-game series.
Right. Well, they won the first 2. Cards did. Cubs won the last 2. 2-game series. 2 + 2 is 4, Pledge.
I thought the Cubs bookended it.
No, they didn't. That's not what happened.
So you had some scratch on those games, right?
I did, as a matter of fact. So I split. But that's okay. The point I'm making is that, Bobby was awfully quiet when the Cardinals were winning, and then now all of a sudden the Cubs win a couple of games, and it's like, ah. So I'm an Astro fan this weekend. Because the Cubs are coming into Houston, and I'm hoping that the Astros just kick their ass.
They will.
I really hope that they do. And we'll go from there. But interesting how, people just come out of the woodwork when it benefits them and not when they're down and out. So I said but that's typical Cub fan. And that's how they operate, and that's just the way that it is. So Well, let's get into this day. Are you ready? It's Friday, man. I'm ready to have some fun. I hope all of you guys are ready to have a little bit of fun as well.
Into or over with?
Into.
Oh.
I want to get into this, man. I'm excited about today's show. Excited about the day. I really am, because there's so much to get into and so much to talk about that I'm ready to do this. I hope you guys are ready to go. Hope you're ready to buckle up and stay, because you got to listen the whole 4 hours. If you don't, you might miss something. And you don't want to have FOMO. That's the worst thing you can have rolling into the weekend. So we need you to lock in, sit down, get a cold beverage, and enjoy the show today. We're going to do that as well. Mitch Johnson made a special appearance last night on the NBA draft coverage. He didn't have anything else to do because the Spurs didn't have a pick in last night's draft, and they made no effort to get back into it, which is probably a good thing. I'm not criticizing them for that, because I'm not sure who was there necessarily that would have made an immediate impact on this team. So I'm happy about that. But we'll hear from the head coach of your San Antonio Spurs, Mitch Johnson, when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Hey, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Do you want the lowest prices on wines and champagne shipped right to your door? TotalWine.com, America's largest independent wine retailer, ships to Eugene and Springfield. Explore our vast selection of over 8,000 wines and find something you love, all at the lowest prices for over 30 years. Whether you're looking to enjoy a full-bodied Cabernet from Paso or crisp Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, TotalWine.com has you covered with great wines and Grand Cru champagne shipped right to your door. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Shipping available on wine and champagne only. Drink responsibly. B21.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know, sometimes it takes me a while, Pledge. These headphones that I have here, they got a little L and an R or an R and an L on the thing, and if you don't stick them in the right ear, they fit funny. So I have to look at them really close.
You got problems sticking in the right hole?
Well, some might say it's possible. I don't know. But I got them in the right ear. They're stuck in the right place today, that's for sure. Hey, everybody, this is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. What a great day. It is Friday here in San Antonio. We're going to have some fun today. No question about it. Glad you guys are along. And gals, of course. When I say guys, I mean, isn't that kind of universal? If you say guys, you don't girls know
if you're a chauvinist,
that they're included? I mean, I don't know. I mean, is that a thing? If I say guys, I mean everybody. I don't mean men. I mean everybody.
You know, in Texas, we have a word for that.
We do? What is it?
Y'all.
Y'all? Well, happy y'all are hanging on with us here today.
All y'all.
I like y'all. That's a good word. Very good word. Really am happy that everybody's here. No question about it. So, Mitch Johnson made an appearance on the NBA draft coverage last night. And it's a good thing because we hadn't heard from Mitch. You know, we heard from Brian Wright after the draft on Wednesday night, but no Mitch Johnson. So he was asked a lot of questions on the NBA draft coverage. And again, the Spurs, he didn't have anything to do. And I guess by him making that appearance, it was quite obvious the Spurs weren't going to try and trade back into the draft. There you go. He was there, had some time on his hands, and joined the crew there. And, of course, they're very curious about the draft picks when you're talking about the fit, especially with Fox, Castle, and Harper.
Yeah, I think he'll fit great in terms of guys that can play off each other, multiple people that can create, multiple people that can play off of closeouts and rotations and catch and shoot. And I think, everybody's chasing the people that are playing at the end of the year. And when you watch those teams, the teams that are the hardest to guard are people with multiple people that can make plays and create for each other.
All right. So, and look, and I said this yesterday, and I mean it. I think with those three guys, as it stands now, if you're designing plays for those guys, there's a lot you can do. And so I think if you're running plays, designing plays, I think all of that is a good thing for Mitch Johnson. And he ought to be working overtime on his imagination. I mean, that's for sure, because I think there's a lot he can do with those three guys. He was asked specifically about Carter Bryant. Of course, that was the Spurs' second pick at number 14, and this is what he had to say.
Anytime you see a kid or a younger player, I should say, that seems to be committed on the defensive end, there has to be some type of mindset and approach that's something that leads to some type of competitiveness and doing things that help a team win without scoring. And we just talked about, some of the guys on our team that are going to be handling the ball quite a bit and playing pick and roll and probably creating some advantages for others. And I think he fits nicely in terms of someone that may be able to play off some of those initial advantages while also, making some plays defensively and being a versatile piece to play around some of those guys that will have the basketball in their hand.
Fitting around everybody else. Look, defensively, that may be where this kid could come in and actually make a difference defensively. I'm not sure anywhere else immediately he'll be much help. But we'll see. He can shoot, but we'll
3-and-D.
see. Yeah, well,
that's his fit. If he's wide open and they're dishing out to the outside.
You think he's just going to be wide open standing there all by himself?
If everybody's collapsing on Wemby, Fox, Castle, and Harper, yeah.
Possibly. Or he could probably be doing that in Austin, where he'll probably spend a lot of time.
Well, Riley Minix needs a running mate.
He does. He does need a running mate. Summer League starts up, next week. They go to Las Vegas. Spurs will be involved. And Mitch Johnson was asked last night on some of the returning players, like some of the second-year players, will any of those guys go to the Summer League and play in the Summer League to kind of help with the culture?
We have, a few of our two-ways. We had a kid, Riley Minix, who we're feeling really good about, who had shoulder surgery that we're, kind of hoping, fingers crossed, waiting to see if he'll be able to participate. His rehab's gone really well. Harrison Ingram was a two-way for us last year. Steph Castle won't be participating in the games, obviously, but he's been around the gym all offseason, really set an example, like you said, and being one of those culture setters for us, along with a lot of our other roster players. And then we have quite a few guys from Austin that always helps out because we really try to connect the programs, because really it's all obviously under one program, but the two teams in terms of Austin and San Antonio with the corporate knowledge and some of that. So really happy with how that roster is shaping up at this point.
And, you got to get used to your teammates in Austin, so you want to play with them in the Summer League, and, there you go.
Well, he's also, got the vernacular down already.
What? Yeah.
Corporate knowledge, baby.
Corporate knowledge. But he speaks very highly of Riley Minix. Did you hear that? And it's too bad old Jason's not here because he'd probably be going nuts hearing about his cousin or whatever the case is, or however they're related.
About to earn that second in.
Exactly. And if they're not related and he makes it big in the NBA, then I think Jason might try to find a relationship somewhere along the lines, just maybe to, I don't know, scratch a little money out of that dude or something. Who knows? They do spell the name differently. Right? I think so. Jason's is spelled with two N's, Minnix, and Riley is only one N.
Yep.
So Minix. So I guess they're different, or Riley just wants to be different. Who knows? But very highly, good compliment there by Mitch Johnson on Riley Minix. I don't know much about that guy, but I know he had surgery and he's recovering from that, and it looks like everything's going well. So we'll see what happens when he participates in the Summer League. I like watching the Summer League, and I like it, albeit you got to take it with a grain of salt. All right, so when Dylan Harper goes out there and scores about 500 points, you got to keep that in mind. That's not NBA competition necessarily, so it's still college-type stuff that he's competing against. Just take it with a grain of salt. I want to see him play against NBA-caliber players that have been in the league, and I know everybody's going to say, well, these guys are. They're not. They're not. They're young guys who are just coming into the league, most of them. So it's
Bronny has earned that.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know if they play the Lakers. That'd be too bad if they do or don't. We'll wait and see. Mitch Johnson, though, has got that head coaching experience. He had I think 77 games, I think is what it was, that he coached in last year. And I think we all can agree, because we talked about it on this show quite a bit, that he made some mistakes, obviously, and you kind of expect that. But he says that the difference is that he has learned and he can move forward.
Yes, some very unique circumstances. I think right now what it's done for me is it's given me 77 games to reflect on and help me prepare for how I wanted to attack the offseason and training camp. And now I have all this time to actually set some processes in place and delegate in some ways to be efficient as a staff and how we want to, build things out. To be able to have that almost the whole year going into your first offseason is a really unique example of being able to set some things in place, right? There's a lot of things I think last year we had to react to because we did not have the time to set things in place, which made it difficult at times. But I think it probably gives us an advantage in terms of a staff this year going into our first offseason, because we actually have 77 games as a sample size prior to our first training camp, which is really unique.
That is really unique, and I think it benefits Mitch Johnson, obviously, because he does have a little bit of experience. You go into the offseason, you know who you've got, or at least for now you know who you've got. You can plan on how you want to take care of things and do things. And look, I'm willing to give Mitch Johnson a shot. And, last year there was some criticism, and rightly so, for some of the things that he did and didn't do. I think what comes to mind is Stephon Castle and not playing him enough early on, because once Castle got into the lineup and was a regular and consistently in there, he showed what he could do. And so I think, Mitch will learn from that and move forward. And again, this is a smart guy. Smart basketball guy, Mitch Johnson. He really is. And so I look forward to seeing what he can do with a full season, with a full offseason that he's got to prepare and get these guys where he want to be. His first training camp as the head coach and all of those things. I'm really interested to see how he's going to handle that. One thing he's not going to do, though, he told the crew last night on the NBA draft show, he was the one guy, and if you ever went to a Spurs game, you saw this. He was always out there with Wemby before the game, getting Wemby warmed up. He was asked if he was going to continue to do that.
Probably not. I appreciate it. I think I'll probably jump out there sometimes in practice and whatnot, and on the floor when more appropriate times. But there'll probably be somebody that will be better equipped than me at this point in being able to fulfill those duties.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. And plus, it's like, hey, remember, I'm the head coach now. All right. As one of those assistants can take care of that. But look, he's got to prepare. You can't be out there. And although some head coaches still do that, especially in practice, and I think we'll see him do that. One thing I do like about Mitch Johnson is the players really seem to relate to him. I mean, he is young. I think he's, 35, somewhere in that neighborhood. So he's a lot closer to the player's age than Greg Popovich was, obviously. And so I think they relate together. The thing that I want to see, and we will see it, it's inevitable, how he handles guys that if you got to pull a guy that's not playing well, say a De'Aaron Fox, and I'm just using him as an example, not playing well one night, and you say, get on the bench, you got to sit down. I mean, how does he handle those guys? Because we all know how Greg Popovich did it. He didn't care. I mean, he yanked Tim Duncan off the floor, and he treated Tim Duncan the way, no differently than anybody else on the team, even though Timmy was the superstar. And I think that earned Pop a lot of respect in a lot of ways with those players, because, hey, if he can get on Timmy, he can get on anybody, and we got to pay attention. So that's, to me, is going to be the interesting part of it. And I know the NBA has changed quite a bit. When you're talking about that, you only look at a guy like Ace Bailey, for example, which we will talk about next segment, which just drives me insane, by the way. But a lot of these guys, you just can't approach discipline, if that's the word that I'm looking for, the same way that you could, I don't know, just 10, 15 years ago. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Mitch Johnson handles that. I think Mitch has got the respect, and enough respect, that these players are going to they're going to know he's the boss, and I think he'll make that very clear. But it's going to be a lot of fun watching him grow, just like you watch the players and the new players that come in here and watch them grow as well. So I'm a Mitch Johnson fan, I'll tell you. I want to see him do well. I really do, because he just seems like a hell of a guy. But we'll see. Time will tell. Renee on Ren on our YouTube page says, I'm going to love it when Bryant and your favorite Sohan are playing defense at the same time. I'm not sure that Sohan will be here, Ren, to play. And I say that because there are big rumors out there flying all over the place about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that the Spurs have interest. So could a Jeremy Sohan be involved in a trade for a Giannis? How about a Devin Vassell? I don't know, maybe a Keldon Johnson. What about a Dylan Harper? Or a Stephon Castle? Could they be involved in a trade for a guy like Giannis, and how would you feel about that? That's interesting, because I know everybody's in love with Stephon Castle. Nobody wanted to get rid of him. And now we've got Dylan Harper here, who's got a lot of potential, but you got to keep in mind, it's a superstar. So who would you be willing to give up if Giannis was available and becomes available and wants to come to San Antonio? Would either one of those guys be on the table? Would you make that move? I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about it. We're talking about it when we return here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, we have now met the new Spurs. What are the thoughts?
We got Summer League coming around the corner, but I'll tell you what, it is football season. We're diving face first into it. Get here early. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Want to know the secret to getting the best price fireworks for the 4th? 2 words. Mr. W Fireworks.
We've got pre-tariff pricing. Only at Mr. W will you find fireworks at the same prices as last year.
We don't charge hidden fees. And we never hike our prices.
Just the lowest prices anywhere, guaranteed.
More fireworks for less money. It sounds good, right? Find our location at MrWFireworks.com.
The secret to getting the best priced fireworks is at Mr. W Fireworks with pre-tariff prices.
Nobody beats our prices. Nobody.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
George gets justice.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we don't just represent crash victims, we fight for them. When an accident impacts your life, my team and I are committed to obtaining the justice you deserve. We approach every case with dedication because each one is personal to us. Our promise, no payment unless we win. Call 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Imagine owning coastal land with ocean views and world-class fishing just off Matagorda Bay. Well, dream no more. This Saturday, mark your calendars for a pre-4th of July one-day coastal land sale at Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point. We're unveiling incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1+ acre bay access from $49.9, waterfront properties starting at $99.9, or with a barn dominium from just $169.9. Wow! This gated community boasts a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch with paved roads and underground utilities. It's all happening this Saturday. 1+ acre bay access from $49.9. Waterfront properties from $99.9 with barn dominium for only $169.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing is available. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Freedom starts with land, and land like this won't last long.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Oh, those livers. There's a live golf tournament taking place up in Dallas. Our good friend RJ Cho is there. Brooks Koepka just withdrew. He got all upset. He had to drive, I don't know, into the Netherlands somewhere, and then he hit the tee marker about as far.
Into the crowd.
Into the crowd, and withdrew. Oh, it's funny. That's funny, because that kind of looks like an everyday guy, right? Although I don't hit tee markers, but I'm not opposed to slamming my club occasionally.
But notice he's wearing pants.
He is wearing pants. I can't believe it. Maybe that's the problem. Should have wore shorts. I love seeing those guys when they do that because they are human too. As good as they all are, they're human as well. Hey, welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix has the day off. James Pledger, he's here, and he's about to talk to you. Why, you ask, Joe? Well, because we've got a family 4-pack of tickets we're about to give away to go see the San Antonio Missions take on the hated Corpus Christi Hooks. Tuesday, can you believe it's July 1st already? Tuesday, July 1st, out at Wolf Stadium. You can, if you don't win the tickets, you can get them at, MILB.com/San Antonio/tickets. Anyway, why don't you just win them? A 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday's game out at Wolf Stadium. The Missions taking on the Corpus Christi Hooks. Caller number, let's go 7 today. I'm pretty easy. Caller number 7 at 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN.
While we're on this, just one more. I sent you apparently the livers are having a day up in Dallas.
Oh, we got another club smash. Now, those guys, look at a bunch of babies, man. That wasn't that bad. Holy cow, what a bunch of babies those live guys are. That is slamming the clubs. It's like, man. He slammed his club about 3 or 4 times down there. Dude, take it easy, will you? You're playing golf for a living, for goodness sake. Oh, my gosh. Well, good luck to y'all if you want to win those 4-pack of tickets to go see the Missions. Now, before we went to break, I asked you what you thought of Giannis. And I bring this up, and I see a comment on our YouTube page that says, wait a minute, was this a conversation from 2 months ago? Yeah, it was. But it has come up again. And it's interesting that this keeps coming up. Now, look, my gut tells me that Giannis isn't going anywhere. I think he ends up staying in Milwaukee, and because he likes it there, he's been there his entire career, and it just depends, I think, on what they do and what they put around him. But I think he ends up staying there. Still, however, the rumors are out there that he's still hasn't shut the door on a trade. And one of the teams being mentioned as being interested, and why wouldn't you be, is the San Antonio Spurs. It's the Spurs, the Heat, the Knicks, and I don't know who the other one is. Doesn't really matter. The Spurs are interested. So, look, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, all right? He is a superstar in the NBA. So it's going to take something to squeeze this guy out of Milwaukee if you're going to do that. Here are the teams: the Knicks, Nets, Warriors, Heat, and Spurs, all rumors. So 5 teams involved in this, according to reports. First of all, would you like Giannis here in San Antonio? And second of all, what would you be willing to give up to get Giannis here in San Antonio? Now, keep in mind, he's under contract for another 2 years with a player option for the third. So you could very well have him here for 3 years if you trade for him without having to do anything. Again, he's expensive, but he's Giannis, right? I mean, he's making about $52 million this year, goes up to $56 million in year 2, and then I think it explodes to like $62 or $4 million in year 3. But it is his option. What would you be willing to give up? Already we've got some suggestions on our YouTube page, San Antonio Sports Star. Well, they are suggestions, yes. They're suggestions. Let's see here. Mark says Keldon and Vassell, 2 first rounds, 3 second rounds. I would jump on that, Mark, if Milwaukee were stupid enough to take that. I just don't think that they would. My question is, if it takes, and I'm just throwing this out here, and I want to know what you guys think. 210-656-3776. If it would take a Stephon Castle, a Dylan Harper, one or the other, would you be willing to make that trade? Would you be willing to part with one of those guys if it meant bringing Giannis to San Antonio? I'm curious what you think. And it's real easy. Everybody says be a Keldon, Vassell, Sohan. Okay, I got it. Yeah, that's easy.
And 2 or 3 firsts.
But was it the guy that went to Orlando got 4 firsts, didn't he?
Bain, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not even close to Giannis. Now, I don't know if it would take that. It might. But I'm just curious, and I want to know because we just happened. But if you had that opportunity to get Giannis here to San Antonio and you had to give up either Castle or Dylan Harper, would you do that? 656-3776, 656-ESPN. I'm curious to know what, if anything, you guys would be willing to give up to get that done here in San Antonio. Now, the Spurs interested, and Giannis, well, he is he could be on the move.
I'm told Giannis Antetokounmpo is closely observing the Bucks draft here tonight and then free agency next week. And what moves can this organization make to elevate the team? They've got a bunch of free agents here. Bobby Portis, Gary Trent Jr., Brooke Lopez, Kevin Porter Jr. Bucks general manager John Horst and his staff have been aggressive over the years, making creative moves time and time again. But this offseason, they've got 1 first-round pick, a few second-round picks to play with. And Giannis Antetokounmpo has been open-minded about his best fit moving forward. He spent 12 years there. There's a level of equity there that he has in Milwaukee. But he has said publicly he wants to compete for a second championship. And so what moves can the Bucks make here over the coming weeks?
That's going to be interesting to see. Now, that was Shams Charania, obviously, talking about Giannis and what he would do or how he would move and if he's interested in what the Bucks are going to do. I find it interesting that he did say in the draft what they were going to do. Keep in mind the Bucks did not have a first-round draft pick this year. They did have a second-round pick, and he took some guy, I can't pronounce his name. He's a big guy, but he needs some work. I mean, he's not a guy that's going to come in and help that team right away. So what do they do in the free agent market? And I think Giannis is going to keep an eye on that. But again, my gut tells me he wants to stay there. However, remember this. Back, a couple of weeks ago, back on June 17th, Shams Charania said this about the Spurs.
The patience versus the actual assets, and I think they're really going to be stocking their assets for potentially a bigger move, bigger player, someone that may fit their timeline. But listen, the Spurs have had a level of interest.
How about that? Remember that soundbite from Shams Charania? Now, that was in the whole Kevin Durant conversation, but that the Spurs were waiting on a bigger haul and keeping their assets. So could that bigger haul be Giannis? I mean, think about that. Now, I would love some of the suggestions you guys have, and I would love for Milwaukee to fall for that hook, line, and sinker. I just don't think that they would. And I think they're going to want a big haul. And I think they're going to want more, obviously, draft picks, and the Spurs have plenty. So that's not an issue, but you're going to have to trade some players, obviously, to get to the make the salaries match up. And I'm just curious because everybody loves what the Spurs did in the draft. We talked about it yesterday. On paper, man, this was an A-plus perfect draft for the San Antonio Spurs. Would you be willing to give up Dylan Harper if it meant Giannis here, or Stephon Castle if it meant Giannis coming here? And I love Sam, and I'm with you, Sam. He says Castle can go because we got to keep Maria Harper here. I mean Dylan Harper. I'm with you, Sam. That's a shiny mommy. That sounded creepy as hell.
A little bit.
Little shiny mommy. Not bad. Let's go to the phone lines. We got some guys on there that want to voice their opinions at 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. Don, you're on line 1. Welcome to the Blitz.
Joe, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Listen, I don't always agree with you, but I think you are absolutely right. If they can make a move some way to get Giannis, you do it now. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. with Wemby, other players out. You make that move now. You send them a proven player like Castle, who is Rookie of the Year. You give them Harrison Barnes, and a couple of draft picks, whatever it takes. If you can make that move, do it. And then the Spurs will be a feared team coming into next season. Thank you for your time. And
I think you're right, Don. I appreciate the phone call. Look, I agree. If you got a chance to get a Giannis, I think anybody except for Wemby is on the table, are they not? I mean, sincerely. The guy, Pledge just reminded me, he was third in MVP voting last year. The guy's a multi-all-star. He's won a championship. I mean, he's the Greek freak, for goodness sake. And if you have an opportunity to get that guy here, I think you take it. 210-656-3776. Let's go back to the phone lines. David, what do you think about the Giannis trade?
Hey, Joe. Happy Friday. I think it would be great. What I would I'm playing you as you've been playing GM all week. Our next two first-round draft picks plus the 27 number one pick we have from Atlanta, the 28 number one pick we have from Boston, 4 future second-rounders, Harper, Sohan, and Vassell.
Harper, Sohan. Now, that you know what, David, that's actually realistic. And I appreciate you being realistic because Spurs fans sometimes live in a fantasy world, but you don't, and I appreciate that. So, okay, but you would do that deal. I think David hung up on us. All right, but David would do that deal. And remind me, Pledge, because he had a lot of things. So it was 3 firsts?
It was 4 firsts.
4 firsts.
2 of your own, and the ones you control from Atlanta in 27, and Boston in 28.
So 4 firsts.
4 firsts, 4 seconds, Harper, Vassell, Sohan.
Okay. Would you do that trade? I would.
That's a lot, but it feels right.
What? I mean, if Bane's getting 4 first-round picks.
Now, the question is, would you rather give up on Harper or Vassell? Because I see Renji in the chat says, Harper Castle is a known.
Well, that's true. And David mentioned Harper, right? He didn't mention Castle in that. Look,
But is Castle a known? And I say this with all due respect because I love Stephon Castle. He's one of my favorite Spurs. He is a player that I really like to come out in this draft. But if Jerry McClain hadn't gotten hurt, he's not the Rookie of the Year. And can you even tell me who finished even close to him in Rookie of the Year?
I don't recall. No.
Because it was very down. And remember, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist also has a Rookie of the Year award. Rookie of the Year doesn't equate to potential stardom.
Well, it's very true. It does not equate to that. But if I'm Milwaukee, and I'm gonna be their GM for just a moment, I might rather have Castle. It depends on what you want. If you're looking for a point guard and a pure point guard, and that's what you want, and that's what Milwaukee needs, I'd rather have Harper, I think, at this point in time. Because to me, Castle is more of a 2. I mean, I think he's better at playing the 2. And I think you put him next to De'Aaron Fox, and I think you've got a pretty good deal. But if I'm Milwaukee, with all the hype around Dylan Harper, even though he doesn't have an NBA resume, I think I would rather have him at this point in time, depending on what they're looking for.
But you just don't know.
Well, you don't. You don't. But again, as you pointed out so brilliantly, Pledge, you don't know about Castle either, right? He played well last year. Can he sustain that? It's an interesting dilemma. I mean, it is an interesting dilemma. And when you start to think about it and all the things that it would take to bring a guy, a true superstar, a beast into your organization, then I think you got to realize it's going to take a lot, and you're going to have to be willing to give up a lot. And so that's the thing. Are Spurs fans willing to give up a lot, or are you happy with the way Spurs are going? That's where it goes. I know everybody's happy about Dylan Harper. Everybody's happy about Carter Bryant. So I would do the deal that David just mentioned. If Milwaukee would go for that, I would go for that as well.
It's a big old bite of apple.
Well, it is. But then you're automatically, you're in the running. You got Giannis and Wemby and Fox and Castle, and we kept Vassell in that trade scenario. So I think you're a contender. Immediately. I mean, you don't have to wait. We're planning riverboat trips. Not saying it's an automatic, obviously, because the West is the beast, but we can at least sit here day one and say, you know what, we got a team on the floor. All things happen. We got a real shot. And again, arguments with people on Twitter, and I love it. I say arguments, debates with people on Twitter. Again, I don't think this team, as it is constructed right now, is a playoff team, not in the West. If this team was in the East, I'd give that to you. But as constructed right now, this team is not a playoff team this year. What moves do they make? Do they fill some needs? Will that change once the free agent period opens up on June 30th? Well, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what they're going to do. But I know, I just feel it, that Spurs have something up their sleeve. Whether it's Giannis or not, I don't know. But they have something up their sleeve. Let's go back to the phone lines. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Michael, welcome to the Blitz.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the stuff's being talked here, and foremost, I don't take much of the perspective with social media or a lot of the rumor buzz and stuff. I'm based off of watching the games, and to me, Jeremy Sohan is one player to this team, but I believe the vision with him is really to make him a Draymond Green-style player for the Spurs, because otherwise, when I look at the rest of the team at large, there's nobody that wants to play inside for this team. There's nobody that wants to get dirty with other players, and the rebounding is something that really stands out to me as well. So I know that there's a lot of speculation about getting Giannis, and certainly a lot of their players and picks that we're talking about as a proposition. I think that sounds great. Probably lesser to Stephon Castle with what we know we have at this point versus, our draft picks here a couple days ago, but Jeremy Sohan, to me, I feel is instrumental with what the future of this team is going to look like because we have some resemblance, I think, with the way that the Warriors were managing their team some years ago.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Hang on, Michael. So if Sohan had to be included in this deal, would that be a deal killer for you?
Yes, because who's rebounding for this team?
Well, that's a good question, but it's Giannis.
We didn't take a center. I hear you all talk about this. They clearly don't have quite a commitment, to going that route. Wembanyama does not want to play five or something that resembles what we're used to as a Tim Duncan role to this team. And Jeremy Sohan, when he is on that court, I see a lot of glue that happens between the 1 and 2 teams. And I think that there is a vision for him to resemble much like a Draymond Green-style player for this team, which I know a lot of people are kind of, they have issues with maybe his behavior and stuff, but a lot of people who play basketball love Draymond Green as a player.
I love Draymond Green as a player as well. I love a guy like that. We had a guy like that in Bruce Bowen, which is what I thought Jeremy Sohan might turn into. So appreciate the phone call, Michael. Good stuff there as well. And, hey, you can continue to comment on this because it is I know it's a hypothetical, but the fact that the rumors are still out there, the fact that the Spurs are still mentioned, not that Giannis has an interest in the Spurs, and that's what makes this intriguing. The rumors are that the Spurs have an interest in Giannis. And you might say, well, duh, Joe. Of course, everybody does. But still, they're only one of 5 teams that is being mentioned that has an interest in this team. And look, if the Spurs truly want that, they're not one of those teams that could outbid San Antonio because San Antonio has more assets than any of the other teams that are being mentioned. So you keep that in mind. Couple of things, though, that would concern me about these rumors is the fact that, again, I will say it again, my gut tells me I don't think Giannis is going anywhere. I think he likes the Eastern Conference, and I think he likes Milwaukee. He's been there his entire career. So I think he likes it there. I don't think he wants to come to the West necessarily, which maybe makes the Knicks or Miami a player. But they don't have the assets, I don't think, to pay for a guy like Giannis.
But if that's the case, could the Spurs be used as one of the teams that Milwaukee leverages those other teams in the East for more assets?
Well, that's true. And look, I don't know. This may take, if you're talking about a guy like this, and no disrespect to Kevin Durant, but that was nothing compared to this. You're talking about a guy that's 7 years younger, a guy that is really just, he's still in his prime, you might say, maybe on the backside of his prime, but he is still in his prime. So it's going to take a lot. Does this happen to turn into a three-team trade where there's different things going all around? Because, look, Milwaukee's not just going to give him up.
You mean like Cam Johnson coming back to San Antonio?
Oh, wow. That was my dream.
I mean,
I'd like to see that guy.
The Nets are a part of it.
Well, I'd like to see that. That would be okay with me. But, again, if the Spurs want Giannis and he wants to be traded, there's not a team out there that has more assets than your San Antonio Spurs. Nobody's going to outbid them one-on-one.
And I'll say this, because everybody that brings up the Durant and the Fox trades, there's a difference. Because Giannis is under control for 2 to 3 more years. He doesn't have the same leverage that De'Aaron Fox or Kevin Durant had being in the final year of their deal and saying, I will not sign an extension with any of these teams.
There is that, and it's also why Milwaukee can command a load for this guy, because at the end of the day, they can say, sorry, dude, we tried. You're going to have to play here.
Command what?
I'm sorry?
Command what?
Command?
Yeah, you said they could command?
Yes, they could. The Milwaukee Bucks? Yes. They've got all the leverage in this deal because the guy is under contract. So they either get what they want or they say, well, sorry, dude, you're staying here. We got you under contract. I mean, so all of this is speculation. It's fun, and I like doing it. It's the reason I threw it out there. But it is interesting. And, again, why it interests me is because it is the Spurs that are rumored to have interest. And of course they do. But that's what's intriguing about this. And you add that to the fact of the Shams Charania audio that we just heard a few minutes ago, that the Spurs could be keeping their assets to go after a bigger fish when they were talking about Kevin Durant. So interesting stuff. We'll continue to take your calls here coming up in just a moment. But when we come back, well, there's a lot of things to talk about. And one thing that's going to make my head explode is what ESPN is hyping for the Summer League. That's one thing. The other thing that's kind of cool, though, is that there was a nice-looking shiny lady in a thong at the Cubs game. Huh. It's always worth taking a look at, isn't it? We'll do that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, I want to talk to you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. Love talking about Stevens Roofing. Family-owned company, local company, just some of the nicest people that you will ever meet. And they will take care of you, guarantee you. And I know that because, well, they've got a long list of satisfied customers. They've been in business for so long here in San Antonio and South Texas. They got to be doing it right, because you don't stay in business if you're not, especially that business. They are doing it right. In fact, they're the best in the business. And right now, they'll send a crew out to your house to check out your roof for free under no obligation. They want to come out there. They want to make sure your roof is ready for whatever happens, whether it's thunderstorms or the heat or whatever Mother Nature has to throw at us as we roll into the dog days of summer. Give them a call. 210-785-0994. They'll send that crew out. They'll inspect everything. They'll let you know, well, you got a little problem over here, or your roof's it's a little old. We recommend you get a new roof. Or they may come down and say, congratulations, your roof is in great shape. Sleep well tonight. Any of the things that they'll do, because they're honest and they will tell you the truth. Stevens Roofing and Solar, 210-785-0994, or you can visit them online at stevensroofing.net. Either way, that's how you schedule that free inspection. Go with the best when you need something that is so important to you and the investment you have in your house. That is Stevens Roofing and Solar. Give them a call. Why don't you do it right now? 210-785-0994.
When you think San Antonio sports, think 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, long nights monitoring cyber activity, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training. We call that credit where credit is due. Whether you're active duty and looking at what's next, or a veteran looking for something new, our degrees and certificate programs teach the application of emerging technologies and enduring life skills. So get started on a degree or certificate with personalized local support services and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. At UMGC, turn your military rank into college credit. Eligible enlisted service members and previously enlisted veterans may receive up to 12 credits for select undergraduate courses based on their rank, and up to 90 credits in total for prior learning, military experience, and training. Visit umgc.edu/SATX to learn more.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At Natural Bridge Caverns, the passage of time and moving water have carved out a massive underground creation. Hidden Wonders, our newest cave tour. Watch thousands of lights reveal otherworldly sculptures in a massive canyon with a sound and light show finale. Or visit the largest of our 2 caverns with a discovery tour, winding through majestic rooms with incredible formations. Above ground, top off your adventure with a zip along the sky rails on our towering ropes course. Choose your adventure at naturalbridgecaverns.com.
Being arrested isn't just a setback. It's a nightmare that can destroy your life and reputation. At Barton & Associates, we're here to make sure your one bad night doesn't turn into a lifetime of regret. Contact Barton & Associates today at texasarrest.com. That's texasarrest.com.
Fireworks are awesome, but overpaying for them? That's not so awesome.
Mr. W Fireworks, we've got the lowest prices around.
Like, lower than anyone.
No hidden fees, no crazy markups, just real savings with pre-tariff pricing. Our family has been doing this since 1963.
And the selection, it's huge. We have so many fireworks.
Go to MrWFireworks.com to find a location near you. Mr. W Fireworks, we have pre-tariff prices.
Nobody beats our prices. Nobody.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Utah Jazz 5th-round pick Ace Bailey did not fly with his fellow first-round pick Walter Clayton Jr. to Utah after being drafted by the Jazz. Reports are Bailey was not happy about being drafted to Utah, could be attempting to force his way out already. Spurs, they didn't have a pick in last night's second round, but they did have a couple of undrafted free agents. LSU guard Cam Carter and USC guard Chibuzo Agbo.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yes, and we have made it. It is Friday in the beautiful city of San Antonio. So happy it is Friday. I hope you guys are happy as well. So happy you're spending some time with us on this Friday afternoon. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix has the day off, but James Pledger is here in the glass box of fun. He's pushing the buttons and playing the music, and, well, I don't know what else he does in that glass box of fun, but he's doing it, whatever the heck it is that he's in there doing. Happy you guys are here, though. Interesting day, and I told you we had a lot of stuff to get into today, and that Giannis thing was just one. So we'll go back to that because I'm really curious as to how you guys feel. And I'm kind of with some of you. I thought that this Giannis thing had kind of been put to bed, that the Spurs were out on that and that wasn't going to happen and it wasn't even a possibility. But apparently it's still out there, rearing its ugly head. And we'll see what Milwaukee wants to do. Obviously, if they get rid of a guy like Giannis, they're going to blow up that team and start from scratch. Dame Lillard's not coming back this year for sure. I mean, that ACL's gone, and he's not coming back. Achilles is gone. Yeah, Achilles. It's gone, and he's not coming back. So anyway, they probably need to do that, and I think that's why Giannis is interested in just kind of watching and seeing what they do in the free agent period, which, man, hard to believe starts on Monday. June 30th, it starts on Monday. There are a lot of ways that the Spurs could go, that's for sure. If they're star chasing and they want a Giannis and you have that opportunity, I think it'd be very hard not to take that opportunity. But if they don't get that, and there's some three ways and stuff, and they can add a couple of veteran players in here that can help immediately, I'm okay with that too. So it's going to be fun to see and watch how it all plays out. But right now, let's do the headline blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Never enough time. That is for sure. There's a story today out of California, and let me just preface this by saying I love California for the weather. I like going out there to visit. I would not want to live there. Having said that, they're trying to do something that it seems like they have other fish to fry. But the state of California is trying to take away daily fantasy sports games and make them illegal. Now, California is not a legalized gambling state, so you can't go there and make bets legalized, but you can play fantasy sports like Underdog and some of the things that the guys talk about here at San Antonio Sports Star. That's considered games of skill, and that's kind of the loophole that how they get around. So apparently the Attorney General of the state of California is going to propose that they make that illegal as well. There's no reason why, and it's been legal in California for 10 years. But they're thinking about taking it away, and it's kind of a bad time for the folks in California if they play fantasy sports because, well, the football season's right around the corner, and that would suck if they yanked that thing away, say, in August, and you're getting ready for football. But, again, I don't know, and I'm not sure why some of these politicians are so hard on gambling or fantasy sports or whatever the case may be, especially when you've got other things that you've got to do and take care of, and California certainly has a long list of that. So we'll continue to watch that. I just hope that the king, Dan Patrick, doesn't find out about it, because he'd probably propose the same thing, and then we'd all be screwed. You know, that's how they get away with the slot machines and stuff. It's a game of skill. That's the loophole that it goes through. And
skill, huh?
Yeah, it's a game of skill because you have to push up or down depending on where you're going. But that's how they do it. So I'm hopeful that maybe this won't pass in California and it won't become a trend everywhere else. So we will continue to wait and see on that. ESPN is very excited about the Summer League, and they're very excited in particular of one game. The Dallas Mavericks apparently will play the Los Angeles Lakers, and they have it billed not as the Lakers taking on the Mavericks. It's Cooper Flagg versus Bronny James.
Bronny has earned it.
And I look at that, and I'm going, you have got to be kidding me. LeBron must have stock in ESPN, or he's got pictures of one of their executives with a goat. Something. Because why? I don't get the hype around Bronny James. Is it just the fact that he has the James name? Is that what it is? Because the guy's not even a pimple on his dad's butt. I mean, he's not. And everybody tries to make him that, but he's not. And I'm just not sure why they are all pumped up for this. Now, I'll ask you, obviously, I won't watch the game because of that. I'll watch the game because I want to see Cooper Flagg play, and I want to see how he does in the NBA. It's why I'll watch the Spurs Summer League, because I want to see Dylan Harper and their other draft picks and see how they play. But it's not because Bronny versus Cooper Flagg. It just seems really ridiculous to me, and I just don't understand it. But maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Obviously,
Bronny has earned that.
Obviously, ESPN thinks that it's a selling point, and that's how they are selling it. Flagg against James. Don't miss it. Could be anything. Anything can happen in that thing. Who knows? I'll get over it.
You're going to watch.
Yeah. Well, I know I will, because I want to see Cooper Flagg, and I want to see how he does. I'll watch it. And I'm a basketball geek or a sports geek, and so I watch most of that kind of stuff. I saw something in My San Antonio today about Amazon delivery options. Could change here in San Antonio, and I think for the better. Apparently, Amazon is bringing in something new, and they're trying it, and San Antonio is going to be one of the test markets for this thing, where you can actually order something from Amazon and get it within 60 minutes. You don't have to wait a day or two, or whatever the case may be, but 60 minutes. Now, I don't know how they're going to do that. They're opening up more warehouses or whatever it is.
I don't know how they're going to do it either. Have you ever tried to get around San Antonio in 60 minutes?
Well, I'm just saying, now maybe they'll have a drone fly it to your house. I mean, that's possible, right? I know some places they do that, but I don't know. Look, we're fortunate. I can order something from Amazon, and because that warehouse is right up the street in Selma?
Yep.
I can get it the next day, typically. You order something today, typically it's there tomorrow if they have it in stock, or depending on what it is. So we're still pretty fortunate here in San Antonio if you order a bunch of stuff like that. And, well, my wife has, I think she's got the Amazon driver in her will. I mean, that dude's at my house more than I am.
Do you get stock?
I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's strange, but there's always a package from Amazon on the front porch.
When the Amazon driver's there more than you can't be talking about packages and your wife.
I'm not worried about him. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Have you seen the hunk of meat she's married to?
That's right. Make me a chicken pot pie, honey. Oh, my goodness. Now, I'm not worried about the Amazon guy. Come on. And then there was this story, and I find it fascinating. I'm assuming it was at a Cubs game, but it couldn't have been yesterday because they were in St. Louis. But at a Cubs game, one of the reporters for the local news channel was doing a news hit from a pool up on away from the stadium, obviously, but you could see the game from this level, this terrace where the pool was. Well, while they're doing a live shot, the broadcast that's broadcasting the game was looking at the reporter, and I guess they were commenting on that, and then, they saw some girl appear in a thong bikini.
That is amazing.
And that's all they could say. And I've seen the video. That was amazing. It truly was. So they just got lucky. And when you hear announcers say, that was amazing, well, that was amazing. So it's a bonus for the job. But I found that funny. And I don't know if that, again, was in Chicago or if it was somewhere else. I'm assuming it was in Chicago. Or I don't know. It might have been in St. Louis yesterday. Either way, she was a shiny thong bikini. At least what I saw of her. Because there wasn't much to see. But Heine, that's about all there was. But it was interesting. Play that one more time, Pledge.
That is amazing.
So, I got to tell you, when I found that story this morning, I hit on that, and the guy's going, that was amazing. And it just continues to loop, and I'm looking at something else. That was amazing. That was amazing. I'm like, damn, now he's driving me crazy. And then I went back to the video, and I said, well, dude, I totally agree with you. I totally do. That was a bonus for those guys. No question about it. So, funny video. If you get a chance to look at that, I don't know what you would Google, because if you Google that, you might come up with something you can't get into or you wouldn't want to get into. So who knows? Very, very entertaining. Hey, we've been talking about it all day on our Sports Centers. Texas State appears that they're headed to the Pac-12. They have been extended an invitation by the Pac-12. That's being reported today, and it looks like they're going to accept it. Now, they have to accept it on or before July 1st. Will they get that done? We're talking about that. We're also talking about Micah Parsons, and I got a question for you when it comes to Micah that I want you to answer. We'll do all of that when we come back. Lots to get into. Don't go anywhere. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle.
Rob's toes are like, I've got gorilla foot, I think is the best. They're almost permanently put into a hook 'em. That's what it kind of is. I have my right foot, it's turning into a hook 'em. Yeah. I think it's more of a rock and roll. One more Aggie curse, and thou shalt have right-footed Longhorn.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. You can also text bail to 474747 or even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121 or online mybestbailbonds.com.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District knows that life moves fast and the last thing you want is to miss out due to an illness. Vaccines are safe and help your immune system fight off serious disease that can stop or change your plans. They protect you, the people you love, and can prevent you from getting sick. Let's get vaccinated because when it comes to your health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. For more information, visit sa.gov/health.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Do you want the lowest prices on wines and champagne shipped right to your door? TotalWine.com, America's largest independent wine retailer, ships to Eugene and Springfield. Explore our vast selection of over 8,000 wines and find something you love, all at the lowest prices for over 30 years. Whether you're looking to enjoy a full-bodied Cabernet from Paso or crisp Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, TotalWine.com has you covered with great wines and Grand Cru champagne shipped right to your door. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Shipping available on wine and champagne only. Drink responsibly. B21.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on.
Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dix.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Imagine owning coastal land with ocean views and world-class fishing just off Matagorda Bay. Well, dream no more. This Saturday, mark your calendars for a pre-4th of July one-day coastal land sale at Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point. We're unveiling incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1+ acre bay access from $49.9, waterfront properties starting at $99.9, or with a barn dominium from just $169.9. Wow! This gated community boasts a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch with paved roads and underground utilities. It's all happening this Saturday. 1+ acre bay access from $49.9. Waterfront properties from $99.9 with barn dominium for only $169.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing is available. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Freedom starts with land, and land like this won't last long.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you know when you're watching our YouTube feed, San Antonio Sports Star, if you're there, like and subscribe to our San Antonio Sports Star station. Well, sometimes there's commercials, right? They go on, especially when we're in a break. And so I'm sitting here watching, and there's a commercial for a company called Tushy, and it's a bidet. Well, that's not the weird part about it, I guess. There's a bidet on there, but then in comes this semi-attractive woman who goes in there. She's in a robe, and she sits down on this bidet, and she gets a smile on her face. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And it shows it's got a little temperature thing where it warms the seat up. And then they show a little squirt thing squirting your tush. It was crazy. I've never, not that I'm opposed to a bidet. I'm kind of a fan of them, to be honest with you. I just think that was just kind of weird. Maybe it wasn't weird. I just wasn't expecting that. Yeah, you see things and it's like, well, wow. That was interesting. And the girl is sitting there with a smile on her face. Huh. Wow. You know what else might put a smile on your face? All-time low. It might. You got to go to find out. And you can do that if you want to. October 26th at the Boeing Center at Techport. If you don't win tickets today, you can certainly get them at livenation.com. But we're going to give you an opportunity to win a pair of those tickets to see All Time Low. Again, it's October 26th at the Boeing Center at the Techport. All you have to do, I've been pretty easy on pledge today. I'm thinking, man, all you have to do is be caller number 12. Caller number 12, all right? Everybody's got a shot. 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. Caller number 12, you're going to get a pair of tickets to go see All Time Low October 26th at the Boeing Center at Techport. And again, if you don't win, you can buy them at livenation.com. Texas State is about to be selling tickets to watch them play teams in the Pac-12. It appears that that's going to happen. They they haven't accepted it formally yet, but they've been given an invitation by the Pac-12 to join that conference, that revamped conference. So they have until Monday, basically. Well, I guess they have longer than that if they want longer than that, but it will cost them a lot less to get out of their contract with the Sun Belt Conference than it will after July 1st. So they can do it on or before. So they've scheduled a board of directors meeting, or whatever you call a university, however they do that. They've scheduled that. And so we'll see. I fully expect them to do that. I mean, we've been talking about it, and we've been getting teased about it for a long, long time, and it looks like a pretty good deal. We talked about the TV package that they're going to do. It sounds pretty good. It's CBS. Now, most of the games are going to be on CBS Sports Network. Some will be on the CW. But again, this deal, there is a deadline. So that's the problem, and they've got to get this thing, and they've got to accept it on or before. Now, according to the article on KXAN, the NBC affiliate in Austin, they say that the deal is secured, and they say in the nick of time to make that exit fee, because it's $5 million now. After July 1st, it's $10 million. But with the Bobcats in the mix, the Pac-12 now meets the NCAA's requirement of 8 teams to remain in the Football Bowl subdivision and be eligible for inclusion in the college football playoff. Now, remember, they were already there, but they have Gonzaga, and Gonzaga doesn't have a football team, so they needed a football-playing school, and that's why they've invited Texas State. And I got to give Greg Shelton all the credit for this. Not that I ever want to give Greg Shelton credit for anything, but he pointed this out. This should be called State Conference. And I didn't realize it and didn't snap to me, but when you add Texas State to Oregon State, Washington State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Boise State, and Colorado State, every team in that conference, with the exception of Gonzaga, is state. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do with that. It's not going to get you anywhere, but I found that kind of interesting, that they're all state schools. I don't know. It kind of baffles me. The Sun Belt Conference media deal with ESPN runs through 2031. It pays schools $2 million a year. The Pac-12's deal, according to KXAN, the article that I'm reading here, is going to pay member schools between $7 and $12 million and put teams on national TV on a regular basis. Found this fascinating, according to this article. Of all the schools that I just read you, would you have guessed Texas State is the biggest school in the Pac-12? That blew me away. I had no idea. 40,000 students in San Marcos at Texas State. They're gonna remain in the Sun Belt this year. They'll move to the Pac-12 for next year, for the 2026 season, or 26, 27, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. Next year, Sun Belt this year. They'll be a member of the Pac-12 next year. G.J. Kinney. I also found this interesting, and UTSA, I hope you're listening, because if this is true, and I have no reason to believe that it's not, G.J. Kinney, who we all know here, UIW, he's doing a great job over there. There's no doubt. He signed a contract extension with the school last year through 2031. It's going to pay him a base rate of $8.75 million, plus supplemental pay of $5.25 million. Now, I don't know the exact figures for one Jeff Traylor, but I think he's well below that. Well below that. I like G.J. Kinney. I'm happy for him. But I think Jeff Traylor needs to be making money in that neighborhood because he's just as good, if not better, than G.J. Kinney. And I know they're good friends, and Jeff would laugh at that, but I think he is, and I think he's proven that. So it's, again, UTSA's got some problems that they're going to have to solve. And whenever Jeff Traylor's contract runs out, it's going to cost them to keep him around.
He just inked that extension through 2031, $2.8 million per.
Okay, so it's well below. I mean, if Kenny's making almost $9 million a year at Texas State, goodness gracious. That surprised me reading this article. It really does, because Kenny just signed his contract extension. So he's gone through 2031 as well. Wow, that shocked me. But that's all according to KXAN. So it looks like it's not official yet, but the Pac-12 has extended the invitation.
They're on par. His 7-year deal is through 2031. Highest paid coach in the Sun Belt, average annual salary of $2 per year. So I think that 8.7 was the totality of the deal.
Could be. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. It will pay him a base rate total. Okay, you're right. You're exactly right.
So it's $2 per year.
I thought, man, for Texas State to be paying a head coach $9 million, that's a lot. So I'm glad you cleared that up, because that makes a lot more sense. So they are on par. Fair enough.
When you say Texas State's the biggest school in the Pac-12 attendance or like
student-wise, yeah.
I mean, when you're going against Fresno State, Gonzaga, Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado's, I mean, the two biggest schools are Washington State and Oregon State. And I don't expect those to have massive enrollments either.
Well, I have to wonder now, and this is no disrespect to Texas State's basketball team. I'm not sure how good they are, but you got to figure Gonzaga's going to rule that thing, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in basketball.
I mean, Washington State and Oregon State will probably.
We'll see. Gonzaga is going to be king of the basketball court in the Pac-12. I don't think there's any question about that.
Washington State just had a player go in the top 10.
Well, that's all right.
Colin Cowherd.
That dude's 60-something years old. Are you kidding me? Look, dude, Rutgers had 2 players go, and they had a losing record this year. So it's, who knows, right? I don't know. I just find it fascinating. And there was a lot of things that I learned here about Texas State. And look, I came from there. Pledge came from there. And I'd never realized that there were 40 million students there. Now, there weren't that many when I went to school there. Back in the dark ages.
But I think word got out about the kind of school it was, and it increased enrollment.
Well, you know what's funny about that, Pledge? And when I went there, I was the beneficiary of something. Because Southwest Texas State wasn't too far removed from that school being a teacher's college.
Mm-hmm.
And then back in those days, most teachers were female.
Well, remember, I went in the early aughts. So when I was there, one of the things at freshman orientation that they really pushed to us was the female to male ratio on campus was 9-1.
Well, that's absolutely true. And that's when you went.
That's when I went.
I think it was bigger when I went. I got two words for you. Sewell Park. Sewell Park.
I mean, a lot of teachers. I was there to be a student.
A lot of future teachers there. They could probably they were already teaching me things.
Well, that's Daddy.
It was a fun place to be. That I know.
Still is.
And there were a lot of shiny objects everywhere around that school. That's for sure. Well, there still are. Yes. It is one of the it would have to be in the top 10, I would think, if we're ranking schools on that. And ladies, I'm sorry. This kind of I apologize to all the ladies listening. Alexandra on our YouTube page. But I'm just saying, if you're ranking schools for that, I mean, Arizona State's got to be in there somewhere.
You would think.
UCLA's got to be in there. Texas State's in there for sure. And most schools are, aren't they? I mean, there's usually a collection of.
There's usually some shiny objects on campus.
Alexandra on our YouTube page, San Antonio Sports Star, said her granddaughter's going to be going to Texas State. Talk to her, Alexandra.
Yeah. Let her know that the square is fun.
The square's a lot of fun. Every place, I was at a blast everywhere there. Maybe too much fun. And that was a problem. Yeah.
Was it?
No doubt. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it took me a while.
But was it a problem?
It was a problem, yes. School was like the last thing on my mind.
Well, yeah, that's why it took me 8 years to graduate.
Jeez, I mean, it was like, that's the last thing I wanted to do, especially when you wake up, you're all hungover and like, chewing your arm off because of what you got.
Well, that's when you head down to the cafe on the square, get yourself a plate of migas before you go to class in the morning.
Yeah. Fun times. I wish I could remember more of them. It was a great place to go to school, no doubt. Alexander, she'll be just fine. Just fine. Don't be worried about it. She'll be okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Micah Parsons. Let me make some of the Cowboys fans' head explode. Micah Parsons, I'm going to compare him to someone, and I want to get your reaction. Dak Prescott. Just leave it at that. And we'll talk about it, and I'll tell you why I say that when we return here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, we have now met the new Spurs. What are the thoughts?
We got Summer League coming around the corner, but I'll tell you what, it is football season. We're diving face first into it. Get here early. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Aloha. Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
What's the one sale you can't miss? It's the Macy's One Day Sale. Come into Macy's and find the best prices of the month on thousands of incredible summer deals. From Levi's shorts for just $29.99 to Guys Fresh Alfani sneakers for the same price. From microfiber sheet sets $9.99 to $19.99 to over half off. A 2-carat total weight diamond bridal set ring. Half off. It's a day unlike any other day. The Macy's One Day Sale. Today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Listen up, San Antonio. At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can get college credit for the stripes you've earned. Turn your military rank into college credit to save time and money on an online degree. Eligible enlisted service members and previously enlisted veterans may receive up to 12 credits for select undergraduate courses based on their rank, and up to 90 credits in total for prior learning, military experience, and training. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu/SATX.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation.
Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row.
Groundworks is the official foundation repair company of Texas Athletics. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
You know, sometimes when you make a mistake, you have to just not ever do it again. And that's what's happening with the Big 12. I see a tweet here from Awful Announcing, and they're saying that the Big 12 is getting rid of their preseason media poll after it ranked Arizona State dead last in 2024. And just to bring memory to your memory, Arizona State, well, they damn near beat Texas in the playoffs. They won the conference and damn near beat Texas. It certainly gave them all they could handle. So they're going to do away with the preseason media poll, which are kind of dumb anyway. And even ranking teams, for goodness sake, at the beginning of the season is kind of dumb, in my opinion. Get off my lawn. I'll never forget Mac Brown. Mac Brown said this. He said there should not be a poll until after 5 games of the season. Then you start ranking teams. Now, that wouldn't give us anything to talk about, which would be kind of sad, but still, I think that makes a lot of sense because it's really dumb to rank teams before they've even played one game. It's kind of sad. But I digress. We're talking Dallas Cowboys football, and Micah Parsons, there's a story out today, and you're probably going to say, yeah, okay, whatever. But reportedly, he is expected to sign a historic contract in the coming weeks. And by coming weeks, like soon. That's what this report is suggesting. And his contract is going to be a little bit higher per year than that of Myles Garrett. According to this report, I think Myles Garrett's making right there in the neighborhood of $40 million a year. Micah was going to be like 40 and a half when it's all said and done, but about $200 million total with the guarantees and all of that kind of stuff. So, does he deserve that? Now, look, Dak Prescott didn't, and you guys who listen to this show, I was not a fan of that contract. In fact, Jason Minix and I had many debates about Dak Prescott getting that contract. I still don't think he deserves it, but he got it. So he's got his deal. And I say that about Micah Parsons, and just hear me out for a minute. All right, just hear me out for a second. Because regular season Micah Parsons is a beast. He's a beast. Dak Prescott can be a beast in the regular season. When you start looking at Micah Parsons' stats in the playoffs, it's a whole different ball of wax. You know, he's been in the play. He's been in Dallas, 4 years? They've made the playoffs, or 5 years, 4 years. Anyway, he's got a record of 1-3 in the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs last year, so I'm not sure how that figures out. But he's got 1 sack. 1 sack. That's it in the playoffs. Is that worth $200 million? I'm asking you, Cowboy fans, because I want to know. I want to know what you think about that. And when you start looking at the numbers, the regular season numbers are fantastic. They're excellent. But is that worth a historic contract? I've been talking about this forever, and I believe it. The quarterback position is a different animal. It really is. And if Jerry kind of was over a barrel and you pay Dak Prescott because you really had nobody else to go to, I get it. But you're talking about an edge rusher. Those guys are a dime a dozen, aren't they? I mean, I think they are.
Are they?
Aren't they? I mean, think about it. Now, there's some primo guys out there that are making a lot of money. We mentioned Myles Garrett, who to me is the best.
What's this playoff record?
Well, I didn't do all that research, Pledge. You're the producer. Look it up, will you?
Well, he plays for the Browns. I imagine it can't be great.
It can't be. They don't make the playoffs very often. I'll have to go back and look at that because it does confuse me. And if I'm not mistaken, Micah was there at 21. So 21, 22, 23, 24. And going into 25. So that playoff record can't be right. So I'll have to look at that again. But I do know, and I've looked this up many places, 1 sack in all the playoff games that they have done.
He was 1-2.
1-2. Okay, 1-2. 1 sack in those 3 playoff appearances. So again, when you're talking about the NFL, especially the Dallas Cowboys, it matters in the playoffs. So while we sit here and we give Dak Prescott a hard time for his record in the playoffs, which, if you forgot, it's 2-5, He's not very good in the playoffs. Well, Micah isn't either.
Myles Garrett also has 1 playoff sack.
Well, and how many playoff games?
He's 1 and 2. He's been in 3.
All right, so he's got 1 sack. So what are you saying? I mean, I'll ask your opinion, Pledge. Does Micah Parsons deserve to be paid the highest non-quarterback in the NFL? And I ask this knowing because you got a guy on the Houston Texans and Will Anderson Jr. who's looking at what's happening here and will probably command more than what Micah is going to get.
Yep.
So,
and I'll say this as a Houston Texan fan who had a player that did not have a lot of playoff wins, but I don't even think it's arguable, is the best player in Texans history. J.J. Watt.
Okay.
I would pay him every time and twice on Sundays over again. He meant that much to that franchise.
Well, and it wasn't just that. It was what he did around the franchise. And you could probably say the same thing about Micah Parsons. Look, he's going to get paid. And I just bring that up because when you start looking at the stats, it's very Cowboy-like and it's very Dak Prescott-like.
Well, I mean, it is a team.
Well, it's a team, but when you're talking about and I'd have to go in and look, and I don't remember how many interceptions Dak has thrown in those 7 playoff games, but it's a lot. But only 1 sack. When you're judged on sacks, and Micah Parsons is, and he's only got 1 in the playoffs. Myles Garrett, I didn't know that about him, and the same record. So
Dak
he got
has
paid.
14 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in those games.
14 and 7. It's when they're thrown, Pledge. That's the problem.
See, there's the goalpost.
It's
move
when
right
they're
there.
thrown. I just go back to the Green Bay game. There were 2 in the first quarter that led to 14 points, and it was all over from there. I don't know. He's going to get paid. I don't think there's any question about that. And it's just a matter of how much it's going to be.
I think I figured it out.
What's that?
Joe just doesn't want to pay anyone.
Well, no, I don't mind paying people. Look, the salaries are outrageous. They're out of control, but the NFL is making so damn much money. It's unbelievable. And I still think it is not. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. Although with what happened with Luka, it's not going to happen. Jerry will never do that. He'd never take the PR hit for that. Why you didn't kick the tires on sending that guy or trading him somewhere when you could have gotten a haul in return? And because I think you can replace an edge rusher more easily than you can a quarterback.
I agree with that sentiment, but there are certain edge rushers that are above and beyond when it comes to their replacement value.
So you think Micah is that? He's in that level?
He commands that kind of attention. Now, the fact that the rest of the defensive line can't do anything with that attention he commands, that's a different story.
So it's their fault.
Well, let me ask you this then. Did Oso Digizua deserve the contract he got?
Well, I don't know. Deserve is a loaded word, isn't it? Deserve is a loaded word.
Sure.
Does anybody?
But Micah allows a lot of people to go one-on-one. So all you got to do is win a one-on-one matchup.
But they're 2 different positions, right? One's a tackle, one's and the other's an edge rusher. So I don't know. It's apples and oranges. But look, it's a lot of money.
I would have never paid DeMarcus Lawrence.
No, I wouldn't have either. But they did. So look, I just think you can replace a Micah Parsons. But again, it's here and there because Jerry's never going to do it. He saw what happened with Nico Harrison when they trade Luka Doncic, and he's not. And Micah Parsons is that popular, so it's never going to happen. Micah's going to get paid. This is a question of when he's going to get paid. John Mishoda of The Athletic is going to join us in a couple of hours or so, and well, I'll ask him that. And I know he's a big Micah fan. But I'm just curious, and I'm one way or the other. I think there's some things you could do, but you're about to have 3 huge contracts on your books, huge ones, and guys coming up. Tyler Smith comes to mind, who's about ready to get paid. Jake Ferguson perhaps is about ready to get paid.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of guys coming up.
I feel like Jake Ferguson's replaceable.
Well, sure he is. No, he is. Not by anybody they've got on the roster now.
But I'll ask this then, because as we look around the NFL and the landscape and the way that it's gone, most teams that are constructed don't have a player that is top of the market at whatever market that is, right?
Sure. I mean, you could argue, though, that, right now the Cowboys have the highest paid player in the NFL in Dak Prescott. I wouldn't say he's not, certainly not the best quarterback in the NFL.
No.
He's not. So then it comes to the argument, Micah Parsons, who is going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, is he the best non-quarterback in the NFL? I would say no, he's not. Not when you're talking about a Jamar Chase. He's not. Now, he may be the best edge rusher. I don't think so. I'm still going to go with Myles Garrett, but he's up there. But I would say he's not the best.
It's when you're talking about, because we're talking about in the moment, top of the market, which top of the market, Patrick Mahomes signed the richest quarterback deal in the history of quarterbacks when he signed his deal.
Sure.
He's now like 10th.
I know. And it's unbelievable. He's a bargain. But
now.
Well, now he is, but he was a bargain then. Are you kidding me? Guy's got 3 Super Bowls under his belt. So, I mean, that makes a difference to me anyway. I don't mind paying a guy like Patrick Mahomes whatever he wants.
What about Justin Jefferson?
Yes, absolutely.
He's got no playoff success.
Well, you could say he hasn't had a quarterback either. I mean, they went 11-3. What'd they go? 11 and whatever they did, or 14-3 last year, whatever it was.
Something like that.
It was a dismal playoff, and they got beat there. But still, I mean, yeah. When you talk about a Jamar Chase, you're talking about a Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys, you need those guys. That's why the Cowboys, I'm happy that George Pickens came by. That was a good move for them. And I think that's going to help Dak Prescott maybe earn some of that money.
Mm-hmm.
If they block for him and if he stays healthy. And all those are big ifs.
And the problem is, it is a team game.
Well, sure it is.
It is a 100% team game.
So, see, that's interesting that you bring that up. But it is still the quarterback versus all the other guys. Because you're talking about Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, great players. They make a difference, but they're not going to get the blame. Joe Burrow's going to get the blame if the Cincinnati Bengals lose. It goes on his record. Dak Prescott gets the blame.
That didn't happen this year.
Well,
they didn't get the blame. Joe Burrow didn't get the blame.
Well, he didn't, because you're right, the defense did. But when you look at that, it's true. That was the highest scoring team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They were. So the offense did its job. You got to look at all these things, Pledge.
I do.
It's still Joe Burrow.
The Cowboys were the highest scoring team that year, too.
When you look at Joe Burrow, his, I don't know, resume or legacy, whatever you want to call it, is going to come down to the fact that, yeah, he went to one Super Bowl and lost it. He's Dan Marino right now. That's what he is. And that's how he's going to be judged. Dak Prescott's going to be judged as we sit here right now. Can't win in the playoffs. That's how he's going to be judged. Fair or not, that's the way it's going to be. And so the quarterback gets the headlines and the money. Mm-hmm. Either way, either good or bad. So, but you look at a guy like Josh Allen. I mean, he hasn't gotten that Buffalo team to the Super Bowl, or Lamar Jackson, but you would say both of those guys are pretty damn good quarterbacks.
Pretty damn good quarterbacks. None of them get the ire either.
Well, they don't, but Lamar does in a lot of respects.
Did. Well, I think he did.
He does. Look, as far as Josh Allen goes, I mean, that team had a lot of playoff success. They just haven't been able to get over the hump over Patrick Mahomes. So, fair or not, it's the quarterback that's going to take it. And, yeah, you're right, Josh Allen hasn't. But you look at his playoff record, it's pretty damn good. And they've been in the playoffs quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, Dak, on the other hand,
he's been in the playoffs quite a bit.
He's 2-5.
7 times.
7 times, 2-5. That's a problem for me, Pledge.
I understand.
It is a problem for me. Before we go, we got a celebrity on our phone lines right now. A celebrity on our phone lines. A national celebrity on our phone lines right now. So let's go to them. 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. Cowboy James, thank you for blessing us with your presence after you were a star on the Rich Eisen show.
Hey, man, I thank you for that introduction, Joe. Hey, real quick. Just to address what you said about Micah, I agree. He has not showed up in playoff games. Should he get paid? Hey, I mean, if you're a great commentator and the going rate's $20 an hour, you don't want to accept 15. So that's all I got to say about that.
Fair enough.
Let's address these the win-loss thing that I gave.
Okay,
hey,
so wait a second. Before you get started, hold on. Now you went on the Rich Eisen show, and Rich was asking you a win-loss, and he went through the entire Cowboys schedule, and you said either win or loss. And what was the final tally you came up with?
Okay, the final tally was 13-4. But remember, when we were at the Lion Club out there, I told you 11-6. But I'm just gonna go through this real quick. Not necessarily each game, but look, check it out, Joe. On the road, we got Bears, we got Jets, we got Panthers, we got Broncos, we got Cardinals, we got Raiders. Which one of those teams are you saying that are definitely going to beat the Cowboys?
Well, I mean, look, the Panthers, the Jets, I'll give you those. I don't think the Bears. I don't think the Bears on the road are going to be a pushover. I don't.
I don't think they're going to be a pushover, but I think we're going to get them. And in division, we're sweeping the Giants. We're gonna split with Philly and the Redskins because that's what we always do. And that first game, that's when we're gonna beat Philly because we're gonna catch them slipping. We're gonna catch them by surprise.
So you're saying then Philly's gonna come into Jerry World and beat the Cowboys then?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And we're going to win in Washington, and Washington's going to come in very well and beat us.
Cowboy James, let me ask you a question. Have you been at the Lion and the Rose today?
No, man. Hey, I was sitting on the side of the road with a flat tire when I was on the Rich Eisen show, waiting for my co-workers to bring me a tire so I could go home. Man.
It was a good phone call. You represented San Antonio well, Cowboy James. Good job, my friend. I'm a little leery about your prediction there, but I'll let that slide today. Thanks for calling in, Cowboy James. We appreciate that. Oh, my goodness. If you don't know what we're talking about, Cowboy James, right before we came on the air here on the Blitz, gave Rich Eisen a call, and Rich went through the entire Cowboy schedule, and Cowboy James came up with 13-4. So I was a little worried that he might have been at happy hour early today, but that's what it is. So I appreciate you calling in, Cowboy James. I really do. Anybody else can call in as well with whatever you want. We're going to talk a little more NBA, a little more free agency when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs. Mitch Johnson, he had some time to talk to the folks on the NBA draft last night because the Spurs didn't do anything. And we've got some breaking news when we come back here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Ugh, I gotta get business cards printed for my entire staff, but where do I even?
That was easy.
Oh, okay, Staples. But can I have bigger stuff printed too, like huge signs and banners?
That was easy.
Nice. And what if I had to ship a package?
That was easy.
Have my passport photo taken?
That was easy.
Coffee and snacks?
That was easy.
What about the latest laptops?
That was
Earbuds
easy.
and headphones?
That was
Office
easy.
chairs?
That was easy.
I think I also need to get some Staples.
Seriously?
I had to ask.
For everything your business needs to get the job done.
Staples. That was easy.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Guys, it's summertime. Carbox got you covered with summertime beers. Whether it's the Love Street Blonde Kolsch Ale, the Rhubarb, which is their latest Fun Series beer, or a Ziegenbach, Crawfordbach, whatever you're looking for, there's something for everybody's taste in Carbox lineup. Check them out at all your local stores.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
We've been talking about it, and according to ESPN's Pete Thamel, Texas State in the final steps of accepting an invitation to the Pac-12. They've initiated the process of calling a board meeting on Monday to execute that acceptance. Utah Jazz 5th overall pick Ace Bailey didn't fly with his teammate, first-round pick Walter Clayton Jr. to Utah after being drafted. Bailey's not happy, but has that changed?
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. We're here. It is Friday. And I'm so happy it's Friday. It's always happy to be on Friday, isn't it? Versus a Monday. Yeah, any day but Wednesday. Friday's pretty good.
Hump day!
And that's why, right there. No, we're so happy you took some time to join us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix has the day off. James Pledger is here, pushing the buttons in the glass box of fun there and playing the music and whatever else James does in there. I'm not sure. I can't see him completely, so I don't know what the hell he's doing in there. But we do have some breaking news. It's just being reported by Yahoo Sports that Ace Bailey will report to the Jazz on Saturday. There's a quote here from a Jazz representative. It says, we've had good communication with Ace Bailey and his representatives. We feel good about everything. Ace and his family are coming to Utah tomorrow. And there's a picture of Ace there at the draft. He looks miserable, doesn't he? He's got the Jazz hat on, but the look on his face is just like, geez, I got to go to Utah. Utah's a beautiful place, but it is a little if you're looking to party.
I want to see his facial expression once that first check hits his account.
Well, that's it. And somebody's, talked to him about it. It's interesting that you say that, because I was listening or reading something. I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but NIL, the prediction is we may see more of this. And because guys, look, if you're broke, you're coming out of college, you have no money, you realize you're going to make, and I think he's going to make in the neighborhood of $48 million, something to that effect. But he's got money. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. The thing about what he was going to do, and it just completely ruined my rant, by golly, but I'm happy it did, because you can't let Ace Bailey get away with this, or anybody else. And I know that his agent told Utah, and I'm pretty sure it was Utah. I can't prove that, but he told one team in the top 5 not to pick Bailey because he wasn't going to show up. Well, obviously, you just kind of do the math, and it looks like it was the Utah Jazz, but they didn't care. They took him anyway because he was the best player available to them. Look, this guy was the 3rd best player in every mock draft, the 3rd best player in every mock draft. He fell to 5. You can't blame Utah for taking him, and you figure it out because, look, at the end of the day, it was going to be Ace Bailey who was going to get hurt. He was the guy that was going to get hurt. So he's going to show up, and the Jazz were being very politically correct with this whole thing, saying, look, he doesn't have to show up now as long as he's here on Monday when we start practice for the Summer League. That's when they needed him to show up. He's going to show up a couple of days sooner than that on Saturday. So I think somebody had a chat with him and said, it's got to be this way, my friend. Those are the rules, whether you think they're fair or not. You just can't have anarchy in that situation. You can't.
Ace, would you like to make however many millions of dollars are available in a rookie contract?
Absolutely.
Then you'll show up.
Uh-huh. And it's all guaranteed money.
Because there's nothing that he can do about the system. You can't get your way out of this if they're hell-bent on having you there.
Mm-hmm.
And all you're doing is potentially forfeiting money.
You're hurting yourself. And look, all he's got to do is show up in Utah for 3-4 years, play there, and then you can leave.
You can, but then you're potentially leaving money on the table.
Well, that's true, but if you don't like it there, I mean, he's a young man. He's only 18 years old.
You're playing there. You can live wherever you want.
Well, that's true. But he's 18, for goodness sake. So, I mean, when he's 22, he can leave, and he can go anywhere else he wants to. Yes, leave money on the table, but if you don't like it, that's the way to do it. Look, if he holds out and refuses to go there, I mean, it would be anarchy. And if more players do, you're going to have to get rid of the draft. You would have to do it some other way. I mean, this could completely wreck the NBA draft if you let a guy like this get away with it. I don't know what the punishment is. I tried to find it, but if he wouldn't have showed up, he's not just going back into the draft next year. He's going to have to sit out a while, and then who knows? But he's only hurting himself, and I'm glad he's going to show up. Sam says $41 million. I knew it was in the 40s somewhere, so I'll take your word for that, Sam. But Ace Bailey's going to show up. The other thing is, Pledge pointed this out to me, and I just want to know, it took me a minute to get this. But Carter Bryant has a number now. He's picked a number.
Yeah, him and Harper both.
Yeah, well, we knew Harper, for whatever reason, wants number 2 because that's the number he wears, and that's got a stank on it as far as I'm concerned. But now Bryant wants number 11. Now,
wash all the bad juju off in one rookie class.
It took me a minute to snap to the number 11. Does anybody know what number 11 was or who wore that number? with the San Antonio Spurs. I'm curious.
I was surprised it took you that long.
Well, it took me a while. He wasn't here long enough.
I had to say peekaboo.
Yeah, peekaboo. Short shorts.
Who wears short shorts?
So they're I guess trying to get rid of all that bad juju. It was Josh Primo that wore number 11 last here for the Spurs. So we got number 2 and number 11, and both have some stank on them. That's for sure. But hopefully these guys will get that stuff off. I don't normally do this, but I want to right now. We're talking about basketball, talking about the Spurs, talking about bad numbers. But we were talking about Micah Parsons in the last segment. And I want to go back to the phone lines really quick. Okay. Well, it was Kathy. Kathy, I was going to you. I had to just hang on for a minute. You think I scared her off?
I think you did.
Yeah? It's that get off my lawn voice kind of thing.
Very stern.
Yeah, just get off my lawn. Call back, Kathy. Make me a chicken pot pie. I was looking forward to talking to you, Kathy. I didn't know she wanted to talk about Micah Parsons, and I'm not sure what she had to say about Micah, but anyway.
Why he deserves it.
Oh, why he deserves it? Well, see, Kathy, you got to hang on. Patience. We'll get back to Kathy. Maybe she'll call us back. Who knows? But 2 and 11. That's interesting. And Ace Bailey is going to show up. That was our breaking news today. And I, honestly, I'm happy for the young man. I'm happy that he made the right decision. I'm happy that he came off a little immature, well, a lot immature, but that he's come to his senses and somebody had a chat with him, and he's going now to the Utah Jazz. Which, look, if this guy goes to the Utah Jazz and they got Lauri Markkanen in there, it won't take that long to build that team back up. If he's what they say he can be, then man, I don't think it's going to be a horrible place to be. I think that team is on the up, depending on what they do the remainder, because I know that Markkanen was on the trade block. John Collins as well is still there, and he activated his player option, so he's going to be there. I mean, they've got some players there. It's not going to be a horrible place to be. If you Salt Lake City. Did I ever tell you the story, Pledge?
Which one?
Well, back in the day when the Jazz were good, John Stockton, Karl Malone, those guys played the Spurs quite a bit.
Long time ago.
It was back in the early 2000s, right? I want to say.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
We were going there. Well, yeah. Either way, so we tried to find a strip club in Salt Lake City.
Good luck with that.
Exactly. So all the bars there, you had to buy a membership to get into. I don't know if it's the same way now, but back then you had to buy a membership. It was like expensive. It was like $5. It was like a cover charge. But you had to get a card, and you had to do that. So we finally found one, believe it or not.
You had to get a card that said, I'm a heathen that drinks?
I guess so. But the beer there, the alcohol's like reduced. Or it was back then. I haven't been to Salt Lake City in years, so I don't know if anything's changed there or not. But we found one. Now, we go into this strip bar, and the stage has chicken wire all around it, right? Where the
UFC fight happens?
Where the girls dance, that chicken wire. And then the seats were like as far as they're from me to you, Pledge, which is about, 10 feet maybe?
So you needed binoculars.
Yeah. Well, you didn't really need binoculars because they might as well had fully clothed, all their clothes on. You got pasties, it really wasn't much to see. But we found one, so we felt like it was kind of we had done our deed for the day. We found a strip club in Salt Lake City.
Sounds like y'all got hoodwinked for the night.
Well, we did, but we found it. We had that satisfaction that we actually found one. It was an experience.
Did you find one?
We did.
Or did you just pay for people to walk around in a bathing suit?
Well, it wasn't really a bathing suit. It was just pasties on there. No propellers, but just pasties. It was entertaining.
Fly up out of that chicken wire?
To find one. It was entertaining, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to continue here on the Blitz and get our minds out of the gutter, at least me anyway. Although I didn't get in any trouble at that strip club because it was There was no trouble to get into. And I don't really remember, honestly, if the girls were shiny or not. It was a long time ago. I'm going to say no.
I'm going to guess no.
I'm going to guess no. But, back in the day when I was a knucklehead myself, we went and found stuff like that. Mitch Johnson's got his work cut out for him, that is for sure. Brand new head coach, although he does have some experience. He's got a couple of new players. How does he build a team? He made an appearance last night at the NBA draft since the Spurs did not have a draft pick to draft. So he had some time on his hands. He says some interesting stuff about his brand new players. We're talking about it when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're going to draw one name of a person that sold their car to GiveMeTheVin.com and give them $25,000.
Wow. Give Me the Vin is giving away $25,000 in cash every month.
Could you imagine being that person? Wouldn't that feel great?
That would be awesome.
Well, honey, you won.
Yeah. Oh my God. Heather Krager of Dallas, Texas won $25,000 and Give Me the Vin's big cash giveaway. That's so cool. You could be next to get a little more, maybe a lot more. I guess that old Mercedes was worth more than I thought. No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
School's out, summer's in, and that vacation countdown is officially on. But what about your four-legged MVP? Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit in Selma has your furry family member covered. Daycare, boarding, grooming, and training, they've got it all. They're built for your pet's health, happiness, and tail-wagging good times. If you're in the military, your teacher, or your first responder, they've got barking good exclusive discounts. So go ahead, book that trip, hit the beach, crush your summer plans. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit has your pet in good hands. Because home away from home isn't just for humans. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuits in Selma.
Hey, San Antonio, multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country, it all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
South Texas summer is no joke. With temperatures in the triple digits, your roof takes a beating. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. They're local, family-owned, and ready to help. Get a free, no-obligation roof inspection from a team that knows South Texas weather. Whether it's commercial or residential, a small repair, or a whole new roof, get peace of mind with Stevens Roofing. Call 210-785-0994 today. Stevens Roofing has you covered.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Does this sound like your marriage? Wake up and realize that there's a better life waiting. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. At Barton & Associates, we specialize in navigating the complexities of divorce law, protecting your best interests, and ensuring you're not left vulnerable. Divorce is tough, but here's the thing. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control of the process and secure your future. If you're serious about protecting yourself and securing your financial future, Barton & Associates is the team you need. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-MILLION. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. If you're tired of this, Then start your better life today with Barton & Associates. Visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I find it funny. I'm still getting tweets, Pledge. Got a guy said he's
About what?
Well, I think this guy Hiss the Villain is responding to my couple of 19-year-olds that aren't going to move the needle tweet from Wednesday night. He says Fox isn't 19. They'll add a piece and hopefully make a trade for a backup big. All that this needs, that's all the team needs.
That's it.
I beg to differ, but that's one of the things they need, that's for sure. No question. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is off today. James Pledger is here, however, and we've got some business we just need to clean up a little bit. These two guys have been hanging on the line here. First, we're going to go to we were talking about Micah Parsons and why he deserves the money if you're just joining us, and I was thinking, well, I'm not sure that he does, judging by his playoff record, but you know, a lot of you disagree with me. He's going to get paid, that's for sure. So let's get back to the phone lines at 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. Joshua, tell me about Micah Parsons and Will Anderson. What's going on?
Yeah, Joe. You know, yesterday we had a come-to-Jesus meeting that I actually agreed with you with that one, but I'm glad to say I am finally on the other side of disagreeing with you because Michael Parsons deserves this contract, just like Will. We're going to have the same conversation with Will Anderson probably next offseason or the year after, just because they're just pass rushers. But the way they affect the game against the offense has to game plan around them. You can't just run. You have to now have a tight end line up next to him or a running back chip. You have to do things against Michael Parsons as an offense, which doesn't let you call normal plays. So that's why he's worth all that money, because the first most important position on a team is a quarterback. The second most important position on a team is who's going to get after the other team's quarterback. So that's why they're going to make all that money. That's why usually your defensive player of the years are typically a pass rusher.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that a defensive end, a pass rusher, is the second most important player on a football team?
For some teams, that's the way they value it. Some might say a receiver, some might say left tackle, but
well, I would say both. I would say both of those things before I would say a pass rusher. How about a running back?
Look at Kansas City. Kansas City values Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
look at the receivers.
Chris Jones, he's not a defensive end. He's an interior lineman. Although he can play anywhere.
You're right. He can play anywhere, but he's a defensive lineman. Look at San Francisco. They valued Nick Bosa. They paid him out crazy. And then good old Brock Purdy decided to take a hometown discount, which I hope C.J. Stroud's going to do, because we all know the real reason. We all know the real reason why. If you ever go look at Instagram when Blitz was there at Kansas City and you saw him kind of hunched over and crying, it wasn't because the Houston Texans finally got C.J. Stroud, a great quarterback. It was because we're going to have to pay him in about 5 years, about $70, $80, $100 million
oh my
a year.
gosh.
So it's going to be a crazy amount.
I sure hope he plays better this year. That's for sure.
Oh, he will.
A little sophomore slump he had. Joshua, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. The second best player on the team. Are you kidding me? The hell?
I mean, yeah.
No, he's not.
It's widely thought.
Well,
if it's not
by who?
Everyone.
No.
Everyone not named Joe Reinagle.
I'm sitting
apparently.
right here, Pledge. I'm a one of the every.
It's your left tackle. It's quarterback, protect your quarterback, and get after the quarterback. Those are the three most important positions on a football field. According to people.
I beg
and
to
get
differ.
after the quarterback could be defensive tackle, defensive. It's however you get the quarterback on the ground.
Wouldn't you rather have Chris Jones and Micah Parsons? I would.
No.
Yes, I would.
Why?
In a heartbeat.
You didn't want Kevin Durant because he's old. In football years, Chris Jones is in a wheelchair.
Chris Jones is probably the best defensive lineman there is. Certainly one of them.
Yeah, he's a really good one.
No, he's one of the best. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's a topic for another show, Pledge.
Your Cowboy hate
We'll just-
showing.
I don't hate the Cowboys. They're good for business.
You can say that all you want.
They're good for business, Pledge. I love them. And I like Jerry Jones a lot. I really do. Jerry's a good guy. I want to go back to the phone lines and wrap this up before we move on because the story I told, if you were with us just a few minutes ago, I was telling a story about a strip club in Salt Lake City. And I've got someone who can back me up on this, apparently. Aaron is on line 2. Aaron, am I telling the truth or what?
Every single part of it except for maybe the barbed wire, but you might have gone before I did.
So maybe they took that down, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I own a specialized construction company, and the past 5-7 years, 90% of my work has been out there. I got a crew of 4 red-blooded young 20-something-year-olds who've been with me, and they're single and want to go out. And okay, well, let's go test the waters here. It was just like he said.
It's hard.
They do everything. Yeah, they do everything but hand you a Bible on the way in. But it was just like you said, the velvet ropes around the place, and you have to literally throw the money on the stage.
Yes, you do.
And my guys make good money, but I'm all for it when they want to go out because I'm not going to hear about anything about advances or anything else because you literally cannot spend money in that place. I mean, you can't. You literally cannot. Well, so they go there for about an hour to get bored and then want to go have a wild time and go to Chili's or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it. I appreciate the phone call, Aaron. Thanks
a
lot.
Man,
Appreciate that. I'm telling you, that's the way that it is there. And God bless them if that's how they want it to be. That's fine.
You can't give your money away.
It's difficult. You got to make paper airplanes with your dollar bills and throw them up there. Well, I'm glad to see it hasn't changed at all. Because, again, it's been a long time since I've been to Salt Lake City. But Aaron has been there more recent, and it is exactly still the same. Thanks for y'all's patience as we wrapped up a little unfinished business there. Talked about Mitch Johnson being on the NBA draft last night, and he was being interviewed by these guys. And now I was happy that he was because, we hadn't heard from Mitch Johnson. We heard from Brian Wright yesterday, but Mitch Johnson didn't say anything. He didn't hold a press conference. So Mitch was asked about just his overall thoughts on the fit of Fox, Castle, and Harper.
Yeah, I think he'll fit great in terms of guys that can play off each other, multiple people that can create, multiple people that can play off of closeouts and rotations and catch and shoot. And I think, everybody's chasing the people that are playing at the end of the year. And when you watch those teams, the teams that are the hardest to guard are people with multiple people that can make plays and create for each other.
I mean, he's got a good point there. It's just those are more complete teams, I think, at the moment than the Spurs are. That's the only problem that I have with that. Carter Bryant, I know that Brian Wright said he was surprised that Bryant was still around at number 14 because they had him in the top 10. And there was even discussion, if you remember, we heard from Brian Wright yesterday saying that Spurs actually contemplated moving up because they liked Carter Bryant that much. So Mitch Johnson was talking about his number 14 draft pick.
Anytime you see a kid or a younger player, I should say, that seems to be committed on the defensive end, there has to be some type of mindset and approach that's something that leads to some type of competitiveness and doing things that help a team win without scoring. And we just talked about, some of the guys on our team that are going to be handling the ball quite a bit and playing pick and roll and probably creating some advantages for others. And I think he fits nicely in terms of someone that may be able to play off some of those initial advantages while also, making some plays defensively and being a versatile piece to play around some of those guys that will have the basketball in their hand.
All of those things I think are true and potentially will happen. I just still don't think that Carter Bryant is going to be ready to go anytime soon. And it would not surprise me, depending on what the Spurs do. Unless they're just going to get committed to this youth movement that they've got and that they've been on, depending on what they want to do. But I have to believe that Carter Bryant will spend a lot of time in Austin, Texas, playing in the G League, getting his feet under him, getting to know the NBA game. And look, I'll even say the same thing for Dylan Harper. Not that he's going to be playing in Austin. I don't believe that. I think he's a Spur, and he will start the season as a San Antonio Spur. But he's got to have a little grace period. I mean, there's a big difference in playing in the NBA than playing at Rutgers. There just is. Or Arizona, for that matter. I mean, it's a huge difference. And we talk about it all the time. The jump from college to the pros is enormous. Some guys can do it, and they come in right away, and they can get it done. Some guys can't, and it takes a while. Even Stephon Castle, although I think a big part of his problem was the Spurs just didn't trust him early on. And I think that was evident by the fact that he just didn't play much early on. So once they started to trust him, then he got in and he showed what he could do. And I think it's going to be the same way here. You know, the coaching staff and the folks in that organization have to trust that you know what the hell you're doing and that you're up to the challenge, because the competition that these young men are going to face is 10 times greater than what they were facing in college, especially if you're talking about Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, for that matter. I mean, the competition is just that much bigger, and these guys, it's going to be tough. And anybody to expect that these guys are going to come in and make an immediate impact, I think you're fooling yourself. You just are. And so it's going to take some time. Although I think Harper probably never sees any time in Austin, unless he just struggles mightily to begin with. But I think Carter Bryant will. I think he will see some time in Austin, and just to give him an opportunity to play and to get his feet underneath him. I said it yesterday. I think the potential for that young man is enormous. I just think he's just not fully cooked yet, and he needs a little more time in the oven. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens there, but they're high on him, and that's the main thing. That's for sure. Now, Mitch also talked about the Summer League, and that's coming up, and it's coming up pretty quick. In fact, the Spurs' first game out in Vegas is July 10th. By the way, the schedule is out. The Spurs will face Cooper Flagg, too. I think it's on July 12th. We talked about Bronny James. Hopefully they will, ESPN will give us a big Dylan Harper versus Cooper Flagg. I don't know that they'll do that, but they're doing it with Bronny James. But they will play them, and I'm excited about that. That'll be a lot of fun. But Mitch was asked on some of the returning players, some of the second-year guys, will they be going to the Summer League to kind of help with the Spurs culture?
We have, a few of our two-ways. We had a kid, Riley Minix, who we're feeling really good about, who had shoulder surgery that we're, kind of hoping, fingers crossed, waiting to see if he'll be able to participate. His rehab's gone really well. Harrison Ingram was a two-way for us last year. Steph Castle won't be participating in the games, obviously, but he's been around the gym all offseason, really setting an example, like you said, and being one of those culture setters for us, along with a lot of our other roster players. And then we have quite a few guys from Austin that always helps out, because we really try to connect the programs, because really it's all obviously under one program, but the two teams in terms of Austin and San Antonio with the corporate knowledge and some of that. So really happy with how that roster is shaping up at this point.
Interesting, and it will be interesting to see. The other thing that I thought was kind of comical, if you're in the Spurs game, you know this. If you get there early enough and you see the players out there warming up, Mitch Johnson was always working with Wemby. He was always warming Wemby up, and he was always doing that. So he was asked if, now that you're head coach, are you still going to do that?
Probably not. I appreciate it. I think I'll probably jump out there sometimes in practice and whatnot, and on the floor when more appropriate times, but there'll probably be somebody that will be better equipped than me at this point in being able to fulfill those duties.
Well, you kind of got to expect that, right? You're the head coach. You got other things to do, and being out there in pregame warm-ups, well, you don't see a lot of head coaches doing that. So Mitch Johnson's not going to do it either. Interesting what he has to say. It wasn't brought up about anything in the future, not that he would have answered that. Brian Wright was asked by our good buddy Tom Orsborn if they were looking for a big man in free agency, and he wouldn't answer that question, and that's expected. That's not I appreciate Tom at least asking the question, though. So that was good. But what are the Spurs going to do moving forward? Because they do still have some holes to fill. They need a big man, and they still need a shooter. They do. And everybody's thinking about Carter Bryant, but I don't think he's going to be there, at least for a while, and be ready to go. So they do need some shooting, and so What are they going to do in free agency? Are they going to make some trades? What about, I don't know, a superstar by the name of Giannis? Are the Spurs interested in him? There are reports that say that they are. And we've got some new information now from Brian Windhorst that we're going to tell you about when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, we have now met the new Spurs. What are the thoughts?
We got Summer League coming around the corner, but I'll tell you what, it is football season. We're diving face first into it. Get here early. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SMALL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SMALL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SMALL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SMALL.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Want to know the secret to getting the best price fireworks for the 4th? 2 words. Mr. W Fireworks.
We've got pre-tariff pricing. Only at Mr. W will you find fireworks at the same prices as last year.
We don't charge hidden fees. And we never hike our prices.
Just the lowest prices anywhere, guaranteed.
More fireworks for less money. It sounds good, right? Find our location at MrWFireworks.com.
The secret to getting the best priced fireworks is at Mr. W Fireworks with pre-tariff prices.
Nobody beats our prices. Nobody.
Everybody recognize that song?
Do you?
I do. Yeah. That
Just
one I
checking.
remember. You can probably hear that song if you want to from a band that sounds an awfully lot like the original band. It's not Pink Floyd that's coming to San Antonio, but it is a band called Bricks in the Wall. The sight and sound of Pink Floyd live June 28th, which is tomorrow night. It is tomorrow night, right? Today's the 27th? All right, tomorrow night. If you don't have any plans for Saturday night, which is tomorrow night, and you'd like to go see Bricks in the Wall at the Aztec Theater, well, all you have to do right now is be caller number 5 at 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. If you don't win the tickets, you can always get them at livenation.com. Caller number 5, right now, you're going to get a pair of tickets to see Bricks in the Wall, the sight and sound of Pink Floyd at the Aztec Theater tomorrow night. So make sure you can go tomorrow night because, well, that's when it is. So if you want to go, there you go. Caller number 5. Oh, my goodness. This is exciting, and then again, it's kind of scary in a lot of ways. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? And so, big star, obviously, superstar in the NBA, who has said on numerous occasions that he is open to the moving from Milwaukee somewhere else. I thought this thing was all put to bed because it kind of was, right? I mean, you didn't hear about it anymore. And then all of a sudden we get a report today that the Spurs, the Heat, the Knicks, and one other team are interested. Who's that?
The Nets?
The Nets? So there's 4 teams or 5?
It's the Knicks, Nets, Heat, Spurs.
So, okay. I don't know how many that is. 4 teams. Math is hard, y'all. It really is hard. So, 4 teams that are interested in Giannis. And then this morning on Get Up, Brian Windhorse said this. He said, teams doubt that Milwaukee can contend. The Knicks, the Spurs, Miami all held back in the Kevin Durant bidding in hopes of landing Giannis. So if you take all of this, you think that the Spurs are pretty serious about chasing Giannis. And look, and you can't blame them, right? You can't blame these guys. I mean, my goodness. He's a big star. He would make a hell of a difference paired up next to Wemby. He's a defensive player that would solve a lot of that problem. And obviously, he's just a hell of a basketball player. It's scary because you're going to have to give up a load for this guy. And that's the question. I mean, how much would you be willing to do? We had a caller earlier in the show that said Jeremy Sohan would be a deal breaker for him if he was included on any kind of trade for Giannis. I understand what he said. I disagree. I think if that's what it took and they insisted on Jeremy Sohan, then it's been fun. I'd let him go. But it's going to take a lot. You see some of the other trades that have happened. Bane going to Orlando, 4 first-round draft picks. Well, he's no Giannis. So that's a good place to start. Plus, you're going to have to make the salaries match up. When you listen to Shams Charania, and this was from today as well, that getting this to happen, because my gut tells me that Milwaukee is going to be Giannis's home. I don't think he's going anywhere. But he wants, according to Shams, see what they're going to do for the future.
I'm told Giannis Antetokounmpo is closely observing the Bucks draft here tonight and then free agency next week. And what moves can this organization make to elevate the team? They've got a bunch of free agents here. Bobby Portis, Gary Trent Jr., Brooke Lopez, Kevin Porter Jr. Bucks general manager John Horst and his staff have been aggressive over the years, making creative moves time and time again. But this offseason, they've got 1 first-round pick, a few second-round picks to play with. And Giannis Antetokounmpo has been open-minded about his best fit moving forward. He spent 12 years there. There's a level of equity there that he has in Milwaukee. but he has said publicly he wants to compete for a second championship. And so what moves can the Bucks make here over the coming weeks?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. And the scary part about that is if Giannis is going to wait and see what Milwaukee does before he makes any kind of decision, what scares me is if, I don't know, the Spurs or Miami or the Knicks wait, they're going to miss out on a lot of other opportunities. So that's the scary part. So you're going to have to make that decision. How's this going to play out? Is there a timeline? Because the free agency period starts June 30th, which is Monday. All right? Teams can start talking to free agents on Monday. So how long is Giannis going to want to wait? And again, we've said this before, if San Antonio truly wants this guy and he is willing to be traded, there is no one that can outbid the Spurs. They're just not. They've got too much capital, draft capital, and they've got the ability they've got some players that they can trade to make those salaries match up and all of that stuff. Nobody can outbid this team if they truly want Giannis. They can have him. Does he want to come to the Western Conference, first of all? Does he want to come to San Antonio? I don't think Giannis would have any issue coming to San Antonio. And in fact, I think that whole myth about people not wanting to come to San Antonio is just that, is a myth. Especially now when you've got a guy like Wemby that you can pair up with. But I think it was always a myth. I mean, we saw guys roll through here left and right when Tim Duncan was here, when Monty Ginobili was here, when Tony Parker was here. So I never bought into that theory that, players will never come to San Antonio. That's a bunch of baloney. And so they're going to want to come here now. And I think if Giannis sees a path forward to a championship here within the next couple of years, because he is still under contract for a couple of years, and then he's got a player option for a third. Now, I want you to think back to June 17th. Now, Shams Charania was talking about Kevin Durant at that time, but he made this comment about the Spurs.
The patience versus the actual assets, and I think they're really going to be stocking their assets for potentially a bigger move, bigger players, someone that may fit their timeline. But listen, the Spurs have had a level of interest.
Absolutely. So the key phrase right there was they want to be patient and save their assets for a bigger fish, basically. He didn't use those words, but you know what I'm talking about. And that fits right in with what Brian Windhorst said today, that the Knicks, the Spurs, and Miami held back in the Durant bidding because they hope to land Giannis. So I bring this back up, and again, I'm with a lot of you. I thought this was dead. I thought it was already put to bed. But I bring this back up because it really seems like there's a lot of smoke flying everywhere, right? So there's got to be a fire somewhere. And if the Spurs are that interested, and if that report from Windhorst, if that report from Shams is all true, then they've got a real interest in this guy and bringing him to town. Now that would solve a lot of problems for the Spurs. And I say that not only on the floor, but can you imagine the excitement of San Antonio and Spurs fans if Giannis came to San Antonio, put on his Spurs uniform? I mean, season tickets would go through the roof, first and foremost. And you got a little vote coming up.
I was about to say, when's that vote?
In November, that would probably pass with flying colors if you have a big superstar like that. Now, I'm not saying that that's their motivation for doing it. But if you want to win and you want to not skip steps or skip all the steps, you bring in a guy like Giannis, and that solves a lot of problems. It's who are you going to have to give up? Now, I've seen some people on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page with some suggestions. Is it Azriel? I hope I said that right, partner. Giving up Harper or Castle, take your pick of any two other players, not named Wemby, and 3 first-round picks. I think it might take more than the 3 first-round picks, to be honest with you. I think you're at least looking at 4 to start with, and then probably some second-round picks and players. I mean, it's not going to be cheap. It's just not. So you got to get that through your head. If you want Giannis, it's going to be costly. It's going to be expensive. It's like buying the Lamborghini, right, versus the Mazda. Okay, you're going to pay more for, obviously, the Maserati. So, I mean, we got to be serious on this whole thing, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, whether you're on YouTube, and I appreciate the comments there and the suggestions and the offers that you have. If you want to give us a call, you can do that, 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. If a Harper or a Castle were on the table, would you do that? I know everybody's excited about Dylan Harper. Everybody's excited about Stephon Castle. But if one of those guys had to go, would you still make the deal? I told you earlier, there was a guy that called earlier and said Jeremy Sohan would be a deal breaker for him because he thinks he's going to be the Spurs' Draymond Green. And maybe he will be. That's certainly possible. But not for me. If we had to say goodbye to Jeremy Sohan to get a Giannis in here, I'm okay with that. I would do it. So what would you do, and what would be your breaking point? Would it be a Sohan? Would it be a Castle? Would it be, I don't know, a Devin Vassell? Who would it be if that would be the deal breaker for you? If you had to give up Harper, we just drafted the guy. Comes with a lot of promise, number 2 pick, and everybody says he could have been the number 1 if not for Cooper Flagg. Would you be willing to give him away? Man, all of these things, and that's why I say, because it's scary. I mean, it really is scary. So you have to look at this thing, but look at it from a realistic standpoint. Yeah, I don't want to hear Malachi Branham and a first-round draft pick and a sandwich from Subway. All right, I don't want to hear that.
Whoa, what kind of sandwich?
Well, depends. But seriously, because I've seen some of these things, especially when the Kevin Durant flirtation was out there. It's like, oh, well, we'll give them this and that, and it's not going to work. We got to play in stop living in fantasy land when it comes to this stuff. You got to be serious about it if that's what you want. Because I can see a couple of other scenarios. I can. That don't include a superstar player. So how do you want to go and where do you want to go? Let's hear from you. 210-656-3776. Let's go to the phone lines. Darren, welcome to the Blitz. What do you want to do?
Yeah, hello, guys. This is Darren.
Hey, Darren, how are you, buddy? You called me.
All right, not too bad. Giannis is kind of expensive. It's expensive, costly in the end. Personally, with the way the players are lined up right now, somebody like a Nas Reed would fit in there a little better.
Well, I don't mind that. That would be fine, and that's what I'm saying. There's some options. So you're against bringing Giannis in here?
Yeah, and I wouldn't give up Castle at all. He could be the team himself somewhere down the road.
Okay, Darren. Well, I appreciate the call. You can call. That opens up that phone line if you'd like to. 210-656-3776. Yeah, interesting. Giannis is expensive. So, and the Spurs have some holes to fill. I know a lot of you think that it's solved, right? You got Harper, you got Bryant. It's solved. Problem solved. We're good to go. All we need is a big man. That's it.
Well, it's the best draft in the history of drafts.
Well, apparently so. It was perfect, Pledge. It was the perfect draft. You got to remember that. Get the words right. It was the perfect draft for the Spurs. A+ all the way around. But that didn't solve a lot of the problems. And I hate to break it to you, and you may disagree with me, and that's fine. You're wrong, but you may disagree with me. Look, again, Bryant's not going to play right away. He's not. You've got to be prepared for that. He didn't play a lot at Arizona, for goodness sake. So he's not going to play a lot right out of the chute. Hopefully he comes along quickly and he'll be out there. But I just don't think that he will. So you still need a shooter. You still need some defense. You still need all the things that we needed before the draft. They're still needed. Those didn't go away because of the draft. Not immediately. They didn't go away. So you still need all of that. Hey, Pledge, they're asking for a poll. All right? Can you put up a poll? And it's like Giannis, yes or no? All right, if you don't mind. So we're going to put that up, Fred. Thank you. ZZ19, we're throwing that poll up. I want you guys to vote on it. Giannis, yes or no? And at what cost? I mean, we can't put all that on a poll, but if you want to tell me what you want, I'd like to hear from you because it will be costly. It won't be cheap. And there will be some players going away, possibly players like a Stephon Castle. Just throwing that name out there. That could happen. The only guy that's not untouchable is Wemby. Right? I mean, that's the only one that is not untouchable. So what would you do? Giannis, yes or no? We're going to get that poll up here, coming up here in just a moment. Keep in mind, how many MVPs has he won? Two. And he was a finals MVP, correct?
Yeah, and he placed third in the MVP voting this year.
Behind Joker and SGA.
Now, just as I'm putting this poll up for us, right?
Yes.
Do we want to say, would you want Giannis if it cost Harper or Castle? Yes or no?
Yes, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So do that. If it would cost one of your young guys. Now look, and when you say yes or no to this thing, I want you to keep in mind, we have an idea of what Stephon Castle is. We saw him play. He won Rookie of the Year. He was impressive when he got the opportunity to play. But remember, he didn't play a lot at the beginning. Just want to point that out. So when the other two guys don't play a lot at the beginning, you'll understand why. And you got to remember all of that stuff. So the poll is up. Would you want Giannis if it cost Harper and or Castle? I think both of those guys I would have a problem with. I want to keep one of them. But I think you've got a logjam of guards that are the same guy. So one of them leaves, then I think you'll be okay. I don't want to give both of them away. But there's the poll. It's up. Vote, and we'll monitor the results of that. Already got 7 votes there, and overwhelming yes at the moment. So vote on our poll right there. If you want to call in, you can do that like Darren did just a few minutes ago. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. When we come back, we had some breaking news earlier, and Ace Bailey's going to show up in Utah. And then there's that LeBron James fella who has not opted into his contract with the Lakers yet. And Austin Reeves, which is another name, turns down the Lakers' offer. What's going to happen to the Lakers? Bronny is going to have to take over.
Bronny has earned it.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. We continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Blitz. 2 to 6 on YouTube and always at sasportstar.com.
At Natural Bridge Caverns, the passage of time and moving water have carved out a massive underground creation. Hidden Wonders, our newest cave tour. Watch thousands of lights reveal otherworldly sculptures in a massive canyon with a sound and light show finale. Or visit the largest of our 2 caverns with a discovery tour, winding through majestic rooms with incredible formations. Above ground, top off your adventure with a zip along the sky rails on our towering ropes course. Choose your adventure at naturalbridgecaverns.com.
The Gomez Law Firm has been San Antonio's trusted law firm for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us today. Jose, tell us about the cases you all specialize in.
We do ride-sharing cases, we do 18-wheeler cases, work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, you need to visit joegomezlaw.com. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row.
Groundworks is the official foundation repair company of Texas Athletics. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, Micah Parsons and the Cowboys reportedly expected to sign a historic contract in the coming weeks. That's according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, who said the two sides are making progress towards a massive contract extension. Well, Pete Thamel says Texas State is in the final steps of accepting an invitation to the Pac-12. They're going to meet on Monday for the final vote, and most likely they will be a member of the new Pac-12.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Not only is it Friday, it's 5:01, now 5:02 on a Friday. So if you're just getting off work, congratulations. The weekend is here. You have made it. You have done it. Congratulations. So happy for you. Pledge and I have another hour to go. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is off today. James Pledger is here in the glass box of fun, pushing the buttons and doing what he does, producing this fine show. And we appreciate you spending a part of your Friday with us here on the Blitz. And we're making some big decisions here. We're talking about playing GM for your San Antonio Spurs and having a good time with it. We got a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. If you go there, be sure and like and subscribe our YouTube page, please. We would appreciate that. The question is, would you want Giannis if it cost Harper and or Castle? Now, I'm not for both of those guys going away, but if one of them, it took one of those guys, then yeah, I'd be all for it, I think, depending on what the rest of it is. And I'd have to see. I think it's a fun little exercise, to be honest with you, because I thought this was a dead subject. I really did. Until you see the report, you hear Windhorse talking about it, you hear Shams talking about it. All of these guys saying that San Antonio has an interest in bringing Giannis to the Alamo City. And I find that interesting because he would be expensive, but it gets you excited, wouldn't it? If a guy like that came here, think about that. A NBA superstar coming to San Antonio and teaming up with Victor Wembanyama. That would be exciting. There's no question about it. So what do you think? Vote on our poll, and if you want to reach me on Twitter, you can do that, at Joe Reinagel 210, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and give us a call here at the station, 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN, and we'll go back to the phone lines now. Charlie, you're on line one. What do you think about a Giannis trade?
Man, I like Giannis. I think he's a great player.
I just think the asking price is too much. I mean, especially for our young guns that we got in there. To me, I think we can fill that hole that we need with someone like Miles Turner out of Indiana. I mean, I really feel that way. I believe in our system, and all the way from the GM all the way down to the coach. And I just think it's too much, man. I really do. I think we have a young nucleus that we can really build on. Maybe not win now, but in the next 2 or 3 years with a savvy veteran in the middle, I think we got this.
All right, Charlie, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the phone call. That opens up a line at 656-3776. I get what he's saying. I'm not a huge Miles Turner fan, and I don't think Miles Turner's leaving Indiana anytime soon. I think they'll sign him, but I understand what he's saying. A big man like that is something certainly that the Spurs need. They do. The other thing, Charlie, and I should have told you while you're on the line, buddy, I don't want to wait 2 or 3 years. I don't know if you've listened to the show at any time at all, but I'm really not interested in doing that. But I get you. Let's go back to the phone lines. Mark, what do you think about a Giannis trade?
Well, I say no. It costs way too much. I would rather get Derek White back.
Well, I'm all for that. I'm with you there. I'd love to have Derek White back in San Antonio. You don't think he's kind of priced himself out of the San Antonio market, though?
Well, any more than Giannis?
Well, he'd certainly be cheaper when it comes to a draft capital situation. There's no question about that. And I would love to have him here. Spurs need a shooter. They absolutely do. And a shooter like Derek White who plays defense would be outstanding. So you're a no on the Giannis trade.
Yeah, it's too much. It costs too much. Spend half that money or whatever, I don't know how it works, draft picks, money, whatever. But get Derek White, I mean, the Boston seems to be blowing up their team, so.
They do. We'll see if Derek White's available. Again, I'm with you there. I'd love to see Derek White back in a Spurs uniform. It would be fantastic.
Guess what? We need another guard.
Yeah, but Derek can play more than that. He can play the 3. He can play the 3, Pledge. I'm telling you. It's positionless basketball, Pledge. That's what I keep hearing.
Now it's positionless.
That's what I keep
now
hearing.
Now that Derek White's involved.
That's what I keep hearing anyway. So, and I'd love to have a Derek White here. Again, and I'm not his agent, but I would love to have a Cam Johnson here. Even a Nick Claxton would be nice. If Brooklyn's going to have a garage sale, I would love to have that and see that happen. Don't know if that will happen, and I think you can get both of those guys for the same price that you could get a Giannis. I'm all for Giannis, though. If they can make it happen, I wouldn't say no to it. But it just depends on what the price is. And some of the callers, as you've heard, are concerned about that. But it's one of those things. I want this team to improve, and the fact that they are said to be. Now, I take that with a little bit of grain of salt, too, because even though I know Brian Windhorst is plugged in, Shams is plugged in, I get it, and they've got their sources, and they've got whatever they've got. But the Spurs are very difficult to get stuff out of. Now, maybe it's easier for those guys. I don't know. But when it comes to a lot of us here in San Antonio that have covered this team for a long time, they keep things pretty close to the vest. I'll give them credit because there's not a lot of leaks coming out of the San Antonio Spurs room over there. So if Shams knows something and Windhorst, both are saying the fact that the Spurs are interested. And that's what makes this interesting. It's not that Giannis is interested in San Antonio, and maybe he is, but the fact that the Spurs are interested in Giannis and the fact that it's being reported that they held back on the Kevin Durant sweepstakes to save their money for a shot at Giannis. And so that's what's intriguing about this whole thing. But again, I would do the deal depending on what the final price is. I don't want to give up everybody, but if I have to give up one of those guys, because quite frankly, I think there's too many there. When you're talking about Castle, Harper, and Fox, I don't know. It's interesting. Let's go back to the phone lines because you guys are interested in talking about this, and I appreciate it. 210-656-3776. Rudy from the West Side. Not from the east side, north side, or south side. It's Rudy from the west side. What's up, Rudy?
Westside Rudy is saying if I hear another one of these guys say the asking price is too much, I'm changing the station for the day. That's it. Can't do it.
So you say
you got to go get it.
You
the
pay
time,
what
the
you
time
want.
is now. Go do it. The time is right now. Go do it.
Go do it, huh? So you
Go
give up
do it.
all
Well,
these guys. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we've done a lot of years of seeing how many draft picks do we still got? How many young guys do we still got?
Got a bunch of
the
draft
development
picks
time.
left.
The development time has came and went. And I think somebody like Giannis is going to help the coach out because I think the coach needs some help. That wouldn't have been my choice for coach, but he needs some help.
Well, there's no question about that.
Yeah, getting a star that could maybe alleviate some of the blame he's going to take if you don't make that trade or go for him. That's going to help that young man out too.
All right.
Go get him. Help Wemby out. The West is strong right now, man. We don't need more development. We need somebody who's going to be able to battle some of these teams that are out there right now.
West Side Rudy coming strong today. Appreciate it, Rudy. Thank you for that. Now, is this Jack Thompson just texted you? Is that what it is? So he's saying sign and trade Fox, clear the books, and keep the young guns. So if I'm reading that right, Pledge, and please explain this, he's just saying that we're just going to develop these young guys and wait. Is that what Jack's saying?
No. I believe he's weighing in on the Giannis thing. Sign and trade Fox to get Giannis.
You think Milwaukee's going for that?
I don't think so, but
Jack, you need to call in and explain yourself, young man. That's what you need to do. Maybe that's a possibility too. And so he's saying keep both Harper and Castle and send Fox packing.
But how bad does that look on the organization?
Well, I don't really.
After he forced his way here,
I don't really care about that, dude. It's one of those things, right? It's professional sports, and you just live with the details. But in a way, he's right because look, Fox is going to cost you. He wants an extension, and if the Spurs keep him, then yeah, he's going to get it. I don't know, man. I find this interesting, and again, what is scary and exciting all at the same time is the fact that that the Spurs are showing this interest, and if these reports are right, that they held back from Kevin Durant to make a run at Giannis, I just find that exciting. I really do. We do have a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Would you want Giannis if it costs Harper and or Castle? Right now, yes is winning 61% to 39%. So you can go vote there. If you go to our YouTube page, please like and subscribe to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, or the phone lines are open as well, and you can comment there, 210-656-3776. Interesting topic today, and I knew this would get some Spurs fans fired up, and quite frankly, Pledge, I would say at this moment in time, just from the phone calls, not even the poll, just from the phone calls, I think it's split right down the middle. Some people say it's too expensive. Some say go for it, and it doesn't matter what the cost is. What would you do, Pledge?
I'd probably try and make that deal if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to see what the final thing looks like, but I imagine 4 firsts, Dylan Harper, and whether it's Keldon or
got to be
Devin,
Keldon or Devin or somebody, right?
You need money to make it work.
You have to. You got to match the salary.
The one person I'm trying to hang on to in all of this is Harrison Barnes because his salary is easily matchable in all this too on an expiring deal, but he's one of the few shooters we have.
Very true. Very true. And I guess, look, as much as he's been inconsistent and disappointing, for something here inside of me still has hope for Devin Vassell. I still have hope for Devin Vassell.
You need to let that go.
Well, I can't. I'm a big fan of Devin Vassell.
Did you ever watch Frozen with your grandkids?
Frozen?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Let go.
I've heard that song, though. I've heard the song. It's a good song. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, our good buddy from The Athletic, John Mishoda. He joins us every Friday, and today's no exception. We've got some things to talk to John about when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, so we will do that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle.
It's tennis elbow. If it's on the inside of your elbows, it's golfer's elbow. It's where those forearm muscles insert into your elbow, and for whatever reason, everybody will get it at some point.
But Rob doesn't work out, and he has it. Well, I do certain things.
Yeah, well, I was trying to get the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, you are left-handed. Never mind.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
John Clay, you're on the air.
How are you?
I'm good.
Now listen, we don't have time today. I am in New York. I presented an idea last week to wear John Clay Wolf shirts on the air. Yes or no?
Yes. What did he say?
No idea. The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District knows that life moves fast and the last thing you want is to miss out due to an illness. Vaccines are safe and help your immune system fight off serious disease that can stop or change your plans. They protect you, the people you love, and can prevent you from getting sick. Let's get vaccinated, because when it comes to your health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. For more information, visit sa.gov/health.
Vacation mode? Check! Don't forget your furry friend. Bluebonnet Bunk and Biscuit in Selma offers daycare, boarding, grooming, and more. Discounts for military, teachers, and first responders. Bluebonnet Bunk and Biscuit, where pets play, stay, and feel at home.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay, and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Oh, happy Friday, everybody. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix has the day off. James Pledger is here, however, producing this show. And, well, our good friend from The Athletic, John Mishoda, is joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. John, there's always something to talk about, and the one thing that stands out to me first and foremost is you've got a great article on The Athletic right now about the projected 53-man roster. Is that something like that difficult to come up with?
You know, some years it's tougher than others. This one, it wasn't too difficult just because, like for wide receivers, for example, if they don't trade for George Pickens, then I think then maybe they keep like 6, and then you got a little bit more with like Flournoy and Jalen Brooks and maybe Paris Campbell. But when you go get Pickens, I just think that you don't have to go as deep at wide receiver, and you probably need to use that for some other positions. And so running back was probably the toughest one for me, just because of the fact of there was really nothing we saw at OTAs or minicamp running-wise that can make you really separate anybody from the group. You kind of can just go off of what you see, like who's working with the first team and stuff like that. But I had them keeping 5 running backs, but that's only because there really hasn't been anything to differentiate them. I think once we get through camp, I'll probably have it down to 4. But I just didn't see enough one way or the other to, let's say, let a Phil Maffa go.
Well, John, I've got to ask you, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but Deuce Vaughn is not on your list at running back, and I don't see him anywhere else. So, according to this, he probably doesn't make the final roster.
He is gadget juice.
I'm quite frankly, and I mean this in all sincerity, I'm really surprised that he's lasted this long.
Yeah, so for my thinking on that, it was, kind of if you go back to wide receiver, I'm kind of like, there'll be people that'll be critical that I didn't have Brooks or Flournoy or maybe Paris Campbell or maybe some other Trayshawn Holden or some other receiver they like. And I would just say to anybody that says that, well, if they felt that good about those guys, they don't make the move for George Pickens. Yeah. And for the Deuce Vaughn conversation, if they liked him that much, why would they use 2 picks on running backs, after signing 2 in free agency? So I let them kind of show their hand too. This is my 15th year covering the team, and the decision makers for most of those 15 years are basically the same, so I go off of history. So that's why I was kind of leaning more into that with not having Deuce with that group. And then the other part is that from what we've seen and at OTAs and minicamp and heard, it sounds like that there's going to be a little bit more of a role for Kevontae Turpin to maybe work out of the backfield. And so if you're going to do that with Kevontae Turpin, I don't know, how much more you need of Deuce Vaughn. And then the last one I'll add is that when we were at minicamp and they got into their special teams work in previous years, we've seen Deuce back there, taking kickoffs and working with those return units. And we didn't this time. It was obviously Turpin was getting all the first reps, but then behind him was Jalen Tolbert. And so I just think that Deuce Vaughn could do some stuff in preseason that completely flips it. But as we sit here today, that wasn't that tough of a decision for me.
Well, I just think that, my goodness, the odds were stacked against him to begin with, just for a variety of reasons. And the fact that he lasted this long, I think, is really says a lot about him and the way that he works. So I will give him credit for that. As we visit with John Mishoda from The Athletic.
Hey, real quick on that. I do have to add, you are absolutely right. Like, I don't know if you guys got a chance to talk to him out at camp, but one of the best human beings. You really root for him. So yeah, you're absolutely dead on that.
Yeah, nice guy. He really is a nice guy. Just it was just the odds were stacked against him, and again, I'm impressed that he lasted as long as he did. That's for sure. You know, you're right about the running backs, and I'm really curious to see, especially when we get to training camp, who kind of takes that lead role, and if there is such a thing with this group of running backs. I like Javonte Williams if he's coming back from the injury, so he's kind of my guy as I sit there. But Jaden Blue and Miles Sanders, I mean, they're going to have three to choose from, I think.
For sure. Miles Sanders looked pretty good in the work that he got during OTAs and minicamp, and it wouldn't be that difficult for me to see him having a big year because of the fact of I don't really judge him as much, I guess, off of what happened the last few years in Carolina as maybe I should. And he's not that far removed from a really big season for the Eagles, and so they're not going to ask a ton from him, but I just think him in the rotation, I think he could bring some things to that backfield, so that's why I think Sanders is a good bet. And then Jaden Blue, I mean, they used the 5th-round pick on him. And so I think that he's going to probably get the most work of any of these backs in the preseason. And that when I say that, that's also on the thinking that if he doesn't have like a really big game. Because if he has a big game in the preseason where he just has some huge runs and things like that, it could be like Kevontae Turpin a couple of years ago in the preseason where they're like, nope, we've seen enough, shut him down, we're going to need this during the season. That's totally possible with Jaden Blue. And the reason I say it just because what we see at OTAs and minicamp, it's not full pads. You cannot judge the running game there. You judge the running backs off of when they're actually playing tackle football. And when we see that, if Jaden Blue is tearing it up, then by all means, he's going to get a ton of touches, but we just haven't had an opportunity to see what that looks like yet.
John Mishoda with The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. And it's interesting that you say that, John, and I suppose that could happen. I always looked at Jaden Blue as kind of that change of pace kind of guy, that either Miles Sanders or Williams would be the thunder to the lightning, if you will. I know that's a weird thing to say, but you think Jaden Blue could be an every down back?
Yeah, he probably will be more of a split type thing, but I think at the end of the year, somebody's going to have the best numbers, and he would be my pick for that. And I agree with you, though. I do think it'll be more of a committee. I think it'll be more of a split. I think Blue and Sanders kind of fit together, just like kind of Maffa and Javonte Williams kind of fit together in terms of their abilities. And so, obviously, the age is different and experience is different, but yeah, I don't think there'll be one guy that just runs away with the job, but somebody will have to end up being their most productive runner. And if he stays healthy, I just think the home run threat that Blue brings, he'll have the best chance for that because, I mean, let's just be honest, that's what was missing so much this past year from the run game. There just weren't those explosive runs. I mean, you could make the argument the Cowboys had the least explosive running game in the entire NFL last year, and so I just think Blue will get a lot of opportunities that way.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see, and I hope so. I look at the running back room right now, and it's just a hell of a lot better than it was. So no matter what happens, I think they at least start out a step ahead of where they were last year.
I'd agree with that. I am still of the school of I thought that they could have done more. I still have a hard time getting past I just take myself back a couple of years ago when Tony Pollard was on the team, and you knew they weren't going to give him a big contract, and they had him franchise tagged, and you were just kind of like, well, in one of these next two drafts, they'll definitely use a day one or day two pick on a running back. I never would have believed that they went the next two drafts without addressing running back earlier, and they haven't. And so it could come back to bite them, but I thought they'd do a little bit more at the position. So we'll see. It kind of comes out to these four guys who can win the job. But for me personally, I thought that they should have done more at running back.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I agree with you on that. John Mishoda with The Athletic. Now, John, and I know we've talked about this, and there's no way to know if it's true or not, but Adam Schefter reporting that Cowboys and Micah Parsons making progress and that a historic contract is coming in weeks. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't surprise anybody because it sounds like they were pretty close to getting that done a couple months ago, really, when Jerry was talking with Micah. But obviously, the agent wasn't included in those conversations. And so I know the parameters they can't be that far away, so that wouldn't surprise me. And we know the Cowboys like when there's a little bit of a deadline that tends to make a deal. And not that there's a hard deadline, but training camp certainly seems like a deadline. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. I do think it's in the Cowboys' best interest to get something done so there are no distractions going into training camp, giving Brian Schottenheimer and his new and really, young coaching staff for the most part a chance to really hit the ground running with everybody there. And so I think that would make a lot of sense. That wouldn't surprise me. But until it finally gets done, I guess we just kind of wait and see. But I do think Micah will be in Oxnard, even if the deal isn't done yet. I don't think he'll be doing anything on the field, but I do think he'll be, I guess, how they call it, quote-unquote, hold-in, which will be interesting as opposed to a holdout because the Cowboys really haven't had that. They've had the CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin, guys like that not show up to training camp, and then they get their deal. So I do think Micah will be there regardless.
Well, just with the excitement that's been happening with Schottenheimer and the things that he's doing, it just seems like there's a lot of excitement among the players. And to have something like that hold it back or cause a shadow, because, it's kind of our job. If Micah's not signed, all the questions are going to be about that at training camp, and nobody wants to hear that. So hopefully Jerry knows that, and he'll get it done before they hit Oxnard.
Yeah, and I just think from a Matt Eberflus perspective, it'd be one thing if, let's say, they were going into, let's say Mike Zimmer, they kept him on. There's a little bit of, Micah's going to know because he saw last year with Zimmer what he kind of wants. But this is another new defensive coordinator for Micah Parsons. There's going to be different things about Matt Eberflus's defense that you want your most impactful defensive player to be on the field as much as possible. And as much as any former player will tell you how much training camps have scaled back in terms of how much they're wearing pads and things like that, I do still think that training camp matters. And I think it's in Micah's best interest and the Cowboys' best interest for him to be as much a training camp as possible so they can hit the ground running week one.
I think you're right, and I think we saw it last year with CeeDee Lamb. And I think he got off to a little bit of a slow start. He picked it up pretty quick, but, it does make a difference, and I agree with you there. John Mishoda with The Athletic. Matt Eberflus. He was there. You've been covering this team for a long time. Do you think that this defense is going to look a lot different than it did last year?
I don't think it'll look a lot different. I just think it'll be a defense that's better against the run. He's obviously very well aware of how that's been a weakness for the Cowboys, even when they've had some good defenses that took the ball away. And so I do think he'll find ways to make them a better run defense. Now, obviously, they haven't done a lot in terms of upgrading defensive tackle. They added Solomon Thomas. They draft Jay Toya with a late round pick, but I think that defensive tackle is a spot they could have done more at, but they seem to feel good about what they have there. I don't anticipate a major move at defensive tackle. I think that they like the guys that they have. So maybe it's through the running backs. I don't know exactly how it's going to look, but Matt Eberflus's track record speaks for itself, and his track record is his defenses stop the run and they take the ball away, and I see no reason to think it'd be any different for him this year.
Well, that's outstanding. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to getting to Oxnard. We'll see you there for sure. I'm sure you're going to take a little bit of time off before that happens. I hope so anyway. John Mishoda with The Athletic, the best in the business, covers the Cowboys like nobody else. You can follow him on Twitter at John Mishoda. It's Jon Mishoda. Follow him there. A lot of good stuff. And subscribe to The Athletic. I do, and it's fantastic stuff. John, enjoy your weekend, my friend.
You do the same. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it, John. All right, John Mishoda with The Athletic. He is he's about as plugged in as they get when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. That's for sure. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Tom Brady, does he have a new girlfriend? It could be. Could be. And she's selling soap. Huh. We'll talk about it when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, we have now met the new Spurs. What are the thoughts?
We got Summer League coming around the corner, but I'll tell you what, it is football season. We're diving face first into it. Get here early. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Listen up, San Antonio. At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can get college credit for the stripes you've earned. Turn your military rank into college credit to save time and money on an online degree. Eligible enlisted service members and previously enlisted veterans may receive up to 12 credits for select undergraduate courses based on their rank, and up to 90 credits in total for prior learning, military experience, and training. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu/SATX.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Your marriage is over. You know it, your friends know it. Take back control now with Barton & Associates, an aggressive, no-nonsense team of attorneys ready to fight for what you deserve. Contact us today at TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Fireworks are awesome, but overpaying for them? That's not so awesome.
Mr. W Fireworks, we've got the lowest prices around.
Like, lower than anyone.
No hidden fees, no crazy markups, just real savings with pre-tariff pricing. Our family has been doing this since 1963.
And the selection? It's huge. We have so many fireworks.
Go to MrWFireworks.com to find a location near you. Mr. W Fireworks, we have pre-tariff prices.
Nobody beats our prices. Nobody.
Do you want the lowest prices on wines and champagne shipped right to your door? TotalWine.com, America's largest independent wine retailer, ships to Eugene and Springfield. Explore our vast selection of over 8,000 wines and find something you love, all at the lowest prices for over 30 years. Whether you're looking to enjoy a full-bodied Cabernet from Paso or crisp Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, TotalWine.com has you covered with great wines and Grand Cru champagne shipped right to your door. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Shipping available on wine and champagne only. Drink responsibly. B21.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Man, we are rolling through this Friday like a hot knife through butter. I don't know where that came from. It just did. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Reinagle. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. James Pledger is here as well. And we'll get you caught up real quick on the results of our poll. If you're not sure what we're talking about, we had a poll up on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. Would you want Giannis if it cost Harper and or Castle? Now, we've had a few votes here, about 40 votes or so. And yes, 53%, no, 47%. So
it's closer than I expected.
It's close. It really is, which kind of makes sense, Pledge, because it was about the same as our phone calls earlier. When we were taking phone calls, about half the calls said no, and then the other half said yes, absolutely. So interesting stuff. We will continue to follow that. Obviously, the free agent signing or the free agent period begins on Monday, and that's when teams can start to try to sway guys their way about who they want. And we'll see if the Spurs really are serious about a run at Giannis and what that may cost. In the meantime, we got to talk about some important stuff like Tom Brady been chatting it up, we understand, with Sydney Sweeney. Mm-hmm. Now, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy, got married. I guess, I don't know if it was over the weekend or yesterday or whenever it was. It was recent. Got married. You know, he married a girl by the name of Lauren Sanchez, who used to be a sportscaster.
Yeah, right out the Vatican.
Well, that's good. I mean, he's a bazillionaire. So, but I'm just saying, I know Lauren Sanchez. I don't know if she would know who the hell I am, but I ran into her way back in the day when she worked for, I don't know, one of those regional networks. And so she was always very shiny.
I was just unaware the Vatican was able to be rented.
Well, I guess they need the money. Why not? I mean, and if you're Jeff Bezos, you could say, write your own, how much? I mean, you just write a check for whatever they want. But I find this fascinating with Tom Brady chatting it up with Sydney Sweeney. Now, look.
Do you?
Well, I do. I mean, Tom's got to be much older than Sydney Sweeney. I don't know how old Sydney Sweeney is. Do you?
20-something. 7, 8.
Okay, well, that's not bad then. What is Brady, 45, 46?
Yeah, hold on. I'll get exact ages.
All right, well, that's cool. So they were just seen chatting it up. And, look, you can't blame Tom Brady, can you? And then again, you can't really blame Sydney Sweeney, can you? I mean, you know, it's Tom Brady, for goodness sake. And if he's paying attention to you, then why not? That would be an interesting pair, I would think. Obviously, Sydney Sweeney, very attractive woman. So they're 20 years apart. Brady's 47, Sweeney's 27. She got a new movie coming out, too, by the way. I couldn't tell you what it is. I just know she does.
Got a new bathwater.
And she's selling soap. We talked about this last week, I think it was, that, you know, because, look, when you see somebody that's very attractive, I mean, I don't know if guys actually say this to their face, but they may say it to their buddies. It's like, I'd drink her bathwater. Have you ever said that, Platt?
You can now bathe with it.
Have you ever said that?
Have I said that?
Yeah.
I'm sure I have at some point.
Oh, I have. Just that should surprise nobody.
Like it's a common phrase to be used. So, yes,
right,
I'm sure
right.
I've said it.
So I've done that. I've said that. It's like, ooh, I'd drink her bathwater. So, yeah, I mean, so that's why she got a lot of those comments. And so she made soap out of it. She takes her bathwater and somehow makes soap out of that. And you can buy it, I think. I think when she first put it out, it like sold out in like no time. And look, she's a pretty girl. I had a friend of mine describe her very well. She's sneaky cute.
You're using pretty.
Sneaky cute. Well, because I can't put the shiny label on.
You can't put shiny on Sydney Sweeney.
She's attractive.
Wow.
Oh, she's attractive. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe she's shiny-ish.
Did you just hit Sydney Sweeney with shiny adjacent?
Shiny-ish. She's, I don't know, something about her that I just can't like. It's not like I'm you're drooling over. I don't know. You're a drooler over Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Well, she's attractive. She's attractive. All right, so you can call her shiny, I guess. I mean, it's up to you. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Sneaky cute, I thought was appropriate, and maybe she'll get better as she grows. No, she's a try. You don't have to show me pictures, Pledge. I get it. I get it. Gilbert P. says she is this generation's bombshell. And Justin wants me to give my man card. But everybody's saying that. My goodness. Okay. All right. I didn't realize that everybody had an infatuation with Sydney Sweeney.
Really? You don't realize she was what Livy Dunn is to you, to literally the rest of the internet?
Well, maybe it's because Sydney Sweeney's too old. 27-year-olds. I mean, my good, I'd go for those 22-year-olds.
Calm down, Belichick.
You know what I mean? I mean, Livy Dunn, all right? And that tennis player the other day we were watching, my goodness. I think she was 22 as well. Very shiny. Dude, look, and I don't want to get too personal here, but I'm a leg guy. I like legs, right? And tennis players always have the best legs. Women tennis players have the best legs. So I'm just saying.
Wow.
Boy,
I'm unaware of your Sydney Sweeney stance.
It's a good thing my wife is out of town. I'm pretty happy about that.
Oh, look. There's Ryan Eagle chiming in on
Maggie.
YouTube.
Hi, Maggie. How are you?
Right, Raggy.
Oh, boy. Now, you sent me something else, too, on Twitter. And what was that? It was something else.
I'm not sure. I've sent you a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, you really have. Man, it's been a fun day. Again, the Giannis thing is fascinating for a number of reasons, but I just don't know, man. I'm kind of in the middle on this thing. Obviously, look, I'd be thrilled if Giannis were here. I'd be thrilled, and it would just be an amazing thing, and I would be thrilled about it. But it's expensive, man. I'd rather see them go out and get a couple of mid-range veterans, maybe other than a superstar, and build the team that way. I don't know. We'll see. It's weird. We mentioned a little bit earlier that Ace Bailey has made his way, or will make his way, to Utah. There was a holdout there for a minute or two, but he's said to be showing up there in Salt Lake City tomorrow. Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. Harper's going to wear number 2, and Bryant's going to wear number 11. Now, you remember where number 11, who recently wore that? Yeah, Josh Primo. So it's kind of odd, but maybe they can make something out of both of those numbers. Number 2 was pretty good for a while, and then he went kind of cuckoo, a little crazy, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But that's kind of get you up to date on that. And we got a special appearance today on our Buyers Barricades guest line, Dr. Christopher Tucker from TSAOG Orthopedics. This is our injury update. Dr. Tucker, first of all, welcome to the Blitz. How's your Friday going?
Hey, thanks for having me on again, guys. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Absolutely.
It's always good to share a nice San Antonio Friday afternoon.
Absolutely. We're glad that you're here. We'll start with Caitlin Clark. Everybody's kind of getting on her case a little bit because she hasn't been playing very well, especially on the road. But we come to find out she's had a bunch of injuries. I guess the latest one, she left with a groin issue, a left groin issue. She had a quad injury. Do those things play hand in hand, or is that just bad luck for her?
Yeah, they can. As with all of these soft tissue injuries, these sprains and strains, usually those are kind of related to some volume of training and playing. And these are just kind of some of the normal wear and tear things we see throughout the season. Anything in the lower body, obviously these, cutting athletes, basketball players and such, they're prone to these things. I don't read too much into it, but these are unfortunately sometimes nagging injuries that, they just kind of have to get shut down for a game or two, even sit out a series, do some rehab, get some treatment, and then they can get back in.
Well, I find it interesting because she has, for Caitlin Clark, who came into the league and just set the world on fire, and she hasn't been playing well. And so, but I guess this explains it a little bit. Is that one of those things, even though she's valuable to the team, you say a game or two or maybe even a series, do either one of those injuries, a groin issue, and I'm not sure the severity of that, or the quad injury, require extended periods of time?
Sometimes. I think that's the minority. We all see how much of a beating Caitlin takes, in comparison to some other players. like I said, these things do run the spectrum. Like you alluded to, we don't know the severity. These things can range anywhere from a minor strain, that could take a day or two, to kind of a more major injury, which you could be out a week or two. Obviously, that's not readily disclosed to the public, but fortunately, these sprains and strains, usually you can bounce back from them without a ton of time off.
Very good. We're visiting with Dr. Christopher Tucker from TSA OG Orthopedics and Spine. Our injury update. A lot of minor injuries that probably don't mean a lot at the moment because football training camps are still a month away. Giants wide receiver Jalen Hyatt suffered a minor leg injury during a mandatory minicamp. When you're talking about nagging stuff like that, Doc, and obviously we don't know the severity of it, but when you have some time like that, do you get concerned about that? Or if you're the Giants with training camp coming up in a month, are you really concerned about something like that?
Yeah, it's really hard to say without knowing any details. But I think, as you said, the fortunate thing is that it is the off season. A lot of these camps are, somewhat optional, and especially for veteran players, they may have the luxury of sitting out another week or two if they need to get some, dedicated rehab to make sure they're really 100% at the start of the season, or even the preseason. But, without any details, when they're listed as minor injuries, usually we think about that being either a minor sprain or a strain, or even just kind of an overuse injury, a little bit of tendonitis flaring up, and just some simple measures can calm that down in the short term.
Well, Dr. Tucker, that brings up a good point. Now, we had this with C.J. Stroud at the last minicamp. He had shoulder soreness, and they haven't really done a whole heck of a lot. I guess maybe throwing the football too much, but some of these guys, that to me would be a concern. He came back and he was okay, but when you have stuff like that, when you're really not doing anything, is it a cause for concern, would you think?
Yeah, sometimes, I try not to read too much into these reports, but, sometimes these are injuries that, may have been a bit more severe at the trail end of a season. And, although, as you said, they're not, quote, doing a lot, they may still be recovering from something pretty significant that was a couple months ago, and they're still on the trail end of their recovery. And they may just they may be pushing it a little bit too much. They may try and return a bit further than average, pushing the envelope. And, as with the stock market, you see ups and downs, but the general trend is upwards. Some of these guys in their recovery, they have minor setbacks, and then they just kind of get back on the road. So I don't read too much into it when it's a minor injury in the off season.
Dr. Tucker, I've got to ask you this. When a guy like me, a middle-aged guy, maybe a little older than that, truth be told, coming in to see, what are the most common injuries that you see?
Yeah, when you're talking about those kind of weekend warrior athletes that you or I are, recreational level, a lot of these are tendon overuse injuries. So, as we age, your bone density, your muscle mass stays pretty constant for a while, but the tendons, they become more fragile and more brittle. It's kind of like, playing with Play-Doh, and then you put it in the refrigerator and it becomes more stiff and more brittle. That's what happens to our tendons. And so I see a lot of sprains and strains. Unfortunately, you read a lot about Achilles ruptures, basketball players taking a jump. They think somebody kicks them in the ankle, they turn around, nobody's there, and boom, they rupture their Achilles. I see a lot of, upper body, biceps, tendon strains, guys hitting the gym, maybe trying to lift what they used to in college, and now they're in their 40s. We all fall prey to that temptation, but, it's mostly the minor, tendon strains that you got to really take care of yourself. You got to, stretch, warm up, and cool down. And, those aspects of staying fit and staying active into middle and older age is really critical.
Visiting with Dr. Christopher Tucker from TSA OG Orthopedics and Spine. And Dr. Tucker, you bring up Achilles, and that there's been a rash of those in the NBA. Obviously, we got 3 stars that probably won't play at all next season because of that. When you see a rash of that same injury, in fact, there were 8 of them total in the NBA this year. When you see a rash like that, is there anything you think they can do or that might be causing something like that?
Sure. That's always the question, right? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So whenever we have these outbreaks of injuries, it's always good to have some introspection and see, all right, is there something systematically we can do? I think some of it's just due to the volume of work that athletes are doing these days. There really is no off season. It's in season, it's postseason conditioning, and then it's preseason again. And so, I think what we can do is just pay attention to the volume of work that guys are doing, guys and gals, and, just preventative measures, taking care of their bodies, nutrition, all the basics. But, when your livelihood is your physical fitness, I think just staying attuned to that and maybe paying attention to how much you're doing in the off season, because the body does need rest to recover. And sometimes there's a temptation to try and do too much. And I think just giving yourself a chance to recover and recuperate in, actually defining an off season could potentially prevent some of these injuries, but it's hard to say.
Great stuff. Dr. Christopher Tucker from TSA OG Orthopedics and Spine. We appreciate your knowledge and your insight and for putting up with us on this Friday afternoon.
No, thanks for having me on. Great to hear you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Dr. Christopher Tucker, like all our guests, appear via the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. I tell you what, Pledge, I always get fascinated by these doctors because they know all this stuff, and it's just like, man, I had a hard time just going to regular school, much less having to go to regular school, then medical school, then whatever else they have to do. So I admire those guys.
I mean, think about it. They just know different stuff than us.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's it.
I mean,
don't
we've
know.
got a bunch of knowledge when it comes to like salary cap and roster construction, players on teams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Things I'm sure they're not fully aware of.
I am a hell of a GM. Yeah, I come to think of it. Yeah, that's true. Very true. And you don't believe me? Just ask Spurs Twitter.
Yeah.
They know it now, too.
I think they're about to treat you like Omar Marjuri and fire you.
Yeah, maybe so. You got a show tonight, Pledge?
I do.
Are you going, 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
We got the Rangers and Mariners coming up.
Rangers and Mariners coming up here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, though, it is Extra Innings with Pledge. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Be sure and join us all on Monday. Wake up with the fellas, Rob and AJ in the morning huddle at 6 o'clock, and then the Blitz Monday at 2 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.